1 per 1st. Ribbon Alaric Pav, New York, late evening. Luke, are you sure about this? I ask, half excited, half nervous, as I plug the USB into my laptop. My fingers hover over the touchpad, hesitating. Luke, tall, skinny, and always a little too confident, leans over the back of my chair with a cocky grin. Nope. But hey, what's life without a few surprises? I shoot him a look. Where'd you even get this thing? He shrugs, far too casually. Some old guy handed it to me. Said he didn't need it anymore. Right, I mutter, opening the USB folder. That doesn't sound sketchy at all. Denny, parked awkwardly on the couch with a half-eaten bag of chips, speaks up for the first time. Wait, really? You just took a random USB from a stranger. Luke scoffs. Relax, man. It's not like it's cursed or something. Could be. I mumble under my breath. Okay, looks like the contents are encrypted. Password protected keys. Luke grins like this was part of the plan all along. That's why I came to you, Mr. Hacker Man. Knew you'd have a magic button to fix it. If this guy gave them to you, why didn't he give you the password too? He forgot it, Luke says, far too quickly. Old age and all that. I raise an eyebrow. Forgot the password to a USB holding God knows what. Sure. Makes perfect sense. Luke just smirks. You asking questions or cracking codes? I roll my eyes and start up the brute force software. Fine. Let's see what secrets Grandpa left behind. 3 hours later. The hum of the PC fills the room. Luke is sprawled on a beanbag, scrolling through his phone. Denny's snoring quietly with a hoodie pulled over his head. Suddenly, the screen flashes. As the folder opens, I sit up straight. It's done. Both of them snap awake, Luke tumbling forward, and Denny blinking groggily. We gather around the screen. I load the private keys into a wallet interface. A few tense seconds pass before the balance appears. My breath catches. Holy shit. I whisper. Luke's eyes widen. Then he laughs, loud, manic, disbelieving. No way. I freaking knew it. Denny's jaw drops. Is that real? That's 1,000 Bitcoin, I say, my voice trembling slightly. That's over $100 million. No one speaks for a moment. Then I narrow my eyes at Luke. Okay, seriously, where did you actually get this USB? He waves me off. I told you, an old dude gave it to me. Luke, be straight with me. His smile thins. Look, the guy didn't want it anymore. It's not like I mugged him. Can we not make a big deal out of this? This is a big deal. I say flatly. If we touch that money recklessly, we'll get flagged. I don't care if it's from 2011, moving that kind of Bitcoin leaves a trail. Luke hesitates. Way too long for my comfort. Quote. So we're rich? Denny asks, still sounding like he's waiting for someone to wake him up. Luke exhales slowly, then smiles again. Yeah, we're rich. But we'll need help to extract it cleanly. I know someone. She's good. Who is she? I ask warily. She's well connected. Deals with this kind of stuff all the time. He's already pulling out his phone. Let me call her. He walks out of the room, already dialing someone. While I'm still staring at the screen like it's made of gold, Denny's phone buzzes. He reads the message, and his expression shifts, first confused, then tense. There's a flicker of fear, and then, resolve. You good? I ask, noticing the change. He pockets the phone quickly. Yeah, just my mom. She wants me home soon. His voice is off, but I let it slide. Not like I can force him to show the message. Luke returns a few minutes later, way too cheerful. She's in. He announces. But she wants 25%. Denny whistles. That's like $10 million from each of our shares. Luke narrows his eyes for a moment before shrugging. Better a slice than nothing. Besides, I wasn't exactly authorized to take the USB. My stomach tightens. You stole it. I borrowed it. Permanently, he says, like that's supposed to make it better. You in? Denny answers immediately, a little too fast for someone usually so cowardly. Yeah, I'm in. Maybe he's just blinded by the money. I hesitate. Luke's always been impulsive, but he's also been my best friend since we were kids. He wouldn't drag us into something suicidal, right? I exhale. Fine. I'm in. It's a hell of a lot of money. Luke claps his hands. Perfect. She doesn't do meetings in town. We gotta drive a couple hours out. Let's go. He practically herds us outside like a man on a mission. As we pile into his car and speed off into the night, one thought keeps repeating in my head. What the hell have I gotten myself into? I think, gripping the USB tightly. Riven Alaric Pav, mountain path, midnight. The car bumps along the uneven dirt road. Trees press close on both sides, the night swallowing everything beyond the headlights. There's a chill in the air, but it's not the cold that's raising goosebumps on my arms. Where is she? I ask, scanning the darkness. Relax, Luke says smoothly from the driver's seat. We're almost there. We drive a little longer, deeper into nowhere, until a cabin materializes ahead, weather-worn, and definitely abandoned. The car rolls to a stop. Luke cuts the engine and the world goes quiet. Too quiet. He opens his door without a word. Come on. Don't wanna keep her waiting, he says, thumbing toward the cabin. Denny and I follow hesitantly. The night air is sharp against my skin. Denny's practically wheezing behind me, sweating bullets despite doing nothing but sit. Luke reaches the porch first. Then he stops. Luke, I ask warily, slowing my steps. Something's wrong. My gut knows it before my brain does. He turns, slowly. And there's a gun in his hand. Sorry, Riven, Luke says coldly as he pulls the trigger. Bang. Pain. Hot, burning pain erupts in my gut like a firecracker. My knees give out. The world tilts, and I slam into the ground with a breathless gasp. The cold dirt presses against my cheek. My hands scramble to my abdomen, my own blood meandering through my fingers. Fuck. I scream through clenched teeth, the agony all-consuming. My fingers press against the wound, as if I can hold myself together, as if pressure will somehow preserve my life. In the distance, a voice shrieks. Denny's. There's a sudden scuffle. A grunt. And then. You were gonna kill me too, right? Denny roars, his voice ragged, furious. You thought I was too stupid to figure it out. You said we'd kill Riven and split the money. I lift my head just enough to see them. Denny crashes into Luke like a freight train, a glint of steel flashing in his hand. A knife. They hit the dirt. Luke yells in surprise and pain as Denny plunges the blade into his side again, and again, and again. The sound is sickening. Wet. Frenzied. Luke fights back, fist slamming into Denny's face, but Denny doesn't stop. He screams as he stabs, wild and desperate. I can barely breathe. So that's why, he looked so nervous. I groan. Luke never wanted to share the money. He was worried he'd get caught since we knew about it, regardless. The pain is growing colder now, duller. My blood soaks the ground beneath me. My body trembles violently as I shift, crawling, dragging myself toward the gun, which lies just a few feet away, knocked loose during the scuffle. It's so close. I groan, my vision occasionally blurring as my blood flows through my fingers to irrigate the soil. I flop towards the gun, moving one hand from my wound and grabbing the gun with blood-stained fingers. When I look up again, the fight is over. Luke's body lies motionless on the ground. The knife's buried deep in his throat. Denny stands above him, panting, eyes wild. He turns to me. Shock twists his face. I didn't mean, shit, Riven, are you okay? He stumbles forward, but freezes when he sees the gun in my hand. His eyes go wide. Riven, wait, listen. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I lift the barrel slowly, arms shaking, teeth gritted in pain. You know, I rasp, my voice raw. I trusted you idiots. I laugh, but it breaks into a wheeze. Coughing. I taste blood. And look where that got me. His hands rise. I didn't want this. I was scared. Luke. Don't. I cut him off. You didn't stop him. He flinches. You were just gonna wait and see. And if I died? One less person to split it with, right? He doesn't answer. My mistake was thinking we were friends. My voice cracks, but my aim doesn't. Bang. The recoil sends a jolt of pain through my whole body, and the gun slips from my hand. Denny collapses like a ragdoll, his blood spilling beside Luke's. I roll onto my back with a groan, staring up at the night sky. No stars tonight. Just blackness. God, it hurts. My fingers are numb. My breath is shallow. So many years of friendship, only to be betrayed so easily. I'm done trusting others. But my resolution doesn't matter anymore. Confirmed. Acquisition of unique skill. Iron Heart. Successful. What was that voice? I think. Kinda sounds like something from that anime. I laugh softly, the sound hollow and breathless. If this is how I go out, at least let me die with some cool powers. I mutter, barely able to speak. Hey, how about, Great Sage? That'd be nice. Confirmed. Acquisition of unique skill. Great Sage. Successful. I blink hard, trying to focus. No way. Can I get Predator 2? You know, for the synergy. Confirmed. Acquisition of unique skill. Predator. Successful. Confirmed. Merging unique skills, Great Sage, and Predator, into an ultimate skill. Unsuccessful. I chuckle, as I feel my eyelids grow heavy, as blood loss begins to take effect. A shame. I almost got an ultimate skill. That'd have been broken. I'd rather not end up in the main world. I sigh. Beyond the multiversal entities running rampant, everyone below Demon Lord level is basically cannon fodder. I don't want to die so quickly. I complain. I'd prefer something like Danmachi, and land in Orario. Beautiful girls, and a clear way to get stronger. Confirmed. Transfer location altered to the Labyrinth City, Orario. Successful. I can't even register the voice anymore as my consciousness fades away. What's the use, if I end up as an ugly monster? It'd be nice to be a handsome human. I think as I completely lose consciousness. Confirmed. Generating physically appealing human body. Successful. Hestia Pav, Orario, evening. Damn it. I shout, stomping down the empty street as twilight bleeds into night. My twintails bounce behind me with every step. Why is this so hard? It's been 9 days since Hephaestus kicked me out of her workshop. 9 long, humiliating, exhausting days. And not one person has joined my familia. I didn't think it would be this bad. I mutter, shoulders slumping. Sure, I don't have a big mansion, or endless vallis, or any support skills useful for adventuring, but come on. I'm a goddess. The rejection stings more each time. I get it, I really do. No members, no income, no benefits. I can't even make weapons or potions to help adventurers. But still. I let out a long sigh and kick a rock. It was a sharp rock. I yelp as pain shoots through my foot, stumble backward, and tumble into a side alley with a thud, right on top of something not rock, at least. Oof. What the? I groan, rubbing my back. Well, at least I landed on something soft. I try to laugh it off, sitting up. Then I freeze. Beneath me is a boy, maybe 16 or 17, unconscious on the cold stone. Pale skin, delicate features, soft-looking white curls that glint faintly in the moonlight. Whoa. I breathe. He's really handsome. I lean closer without even realizing it, fingers drifting through his snowy hair. So soft. I whisper, mesmerized. He looks even better than most gods. I'm so caught up in his hair, that I don't even notice his eyes opening. A pair of brilliant, vibrant, blue irises stare up at me, looking almost crystalline, like sapphires. We lock eyes and time seems to stops. Then he speaks. What are you doing? He asks flatly. He doesn't sound confused or angry, just blank. My face heats up. Sorry. I jump up, flailing in embarrassment. 2 fell. On you. Total accident. I scratch the back of my head, laughing nervously. Hey. He sits up slowly, brushing dirt from his sleeves. You don't seem all that bothered about falling onto someone. You didn't seem to mind. I shoot back defensively, hands on my hips. He tilts his head. Are you a goddess? That catches me off guard. Why? That's right. I puff up my chest. I'm Hestia, goddess of the Hestia familia. He stares at me, neither judgingly, nor reverently like mortals typically do. Just silent observation. Then he extends his hand. It's a pleasure to meet you, goddess Hestia. I'm Riven Alaric. Something about the way he says it makes my stomach twist. The words are true, but there's no conviction behind them. It's a lie, since he doesn't mean them, but he doesn't not mean them. Still, I shake his hand with a smile. Nice to meet you too, Riven. I glance around the alley. So, what were you doing here? Sleeping in an alley. His lips twitch into something like amusement. I'm not sure. I woke up here, and you were the first thing I saw. My smile falters for a moment. You don't know? I ask, narrowing my eyes. I have no memories of how I got here. He says. I closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew, I was here. He's not lying. Which somehow makes it weirder. He's either very unlucky, or very suspicious. I glance at him again. But he doesn't feel like a bad person. Are you in a familia? I ask suddenly, leaning closer. Because if not, I'm not. He replies smoothly. I was planning to look for one, actually. My heart skips a beat. This is it. This is finally it. Then why not join mine? I grin and strike a dramatic pose. The Hestia familia is small but destined for greatness. He raises an eyebrow. How many members do you have? I freeze. We're still in our early growth phase. How many, exactly? He presses, his eyes narrowing. I wilt. 0. You'd be the first, I mumble. He nods slowly. And you don't have much money, connections, or support professions. That's true, I sigh, eyes downcast. He's quiet for a moment, then asks, what are the expectations? If I join? I blink. Huh, what do you expect of your familia members? He clarifies. Do I have to follow strict rules? Serve you personally? Kill on command? Of course not, I exclaim. You're free to pursue your own path. Maybe hunt in the dungeon here and there for some valis. But above all, I just want you to be safe, that's all. We support each other. That's what family means. I pause, then add, we already have accommodation, so you needn't worry about that. I say proudly. He watches me. Then he smiles. I'll join, he says simply, extending his hand again. Tears spring to my eyes. I don't even hesitate. I throw myself at him, wrapping him in a tight hug. Welcome to the familia, I shout, practically vibrating with joy. I take it you're pleased. He says dryly, arms pinned at his sides. Pleased. I'm ecstatic. You're my first. My first. I laugh, spinning around like a girl in a fairy tale. We need to go now, right now, before you change your mind. First familia member. He clarifies, but I'm too excited to pay him any mind. I grab his hand and yank him along the alley, heading toward the old church, and he doesn't resist as I drag him along. Let's make it official. I beam. Tonight, the Hestia familia is born. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello, everyone. If you enjoyed the chapter, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out grin. So yeah, this is the first chapter of a new fanfic. The vibe is slightly different from my last one, but I'll leave that for you guys to discover. So, onto the chapter itself. I'll ignore the first part, since it will have very little relevance. His skills. He got 3 unique skills. Awesome stuff. You can obviously guess 2 of the 3, but anyone want to guess Ironheart's effects? There are clues in the text, law. Anyway, unlike Kata from MHA, absolute telekinesis, I'm future-proofing in case I write more fanfics. Ribbon is also damaged, in a different way. It's mainly that skill's fault. The way Hestia detected lies, and his wishy-washy personality and behavior, it's intentional. He's closer to a sociopath to be honest, RN. It won't get annoying, and I hope you trust me enough to believe me, and details will be revealed next chapter anyway. The current timeline is about 2 months before Belle arrives in Orario, and 3 months 9 days, before the anime starts Belle getting saved from a Minotaur by ice, according to the wiki. So yeah, about 2 months development time before Belle arrives. We're joining the Hestia familia, mainly because of that skill. His current behavior would kinda get him screwed in other familia. Also, I've decided to merge the Tensura and Falna systems. I had a whole lot of fun thinking up and planning everything, with the only thing I haven't yet decided on is naming. Whether it should be allowed or not. 'Cause he can boost familia member strength that way, but I've thought up lots of workarounds. Let me know what you think. Also, Ice was born 1k years ago. But is 16. Madness. And did I portray the characters well? I kinda don't have too great an understanding of Danmachi characters, so I had a lot of back and forth with the source materials. Hopefully it turned out well. Oh and yeah, he looks like a teenage Gojo. I kinda believe beauty is in the eyes, which kinda throws a lot of bias towards Gojo, since there's heavy focus on there. I think Gojo is one of the most attractive male characters. I don't want to overuse it, but what can I do? He doesn't have 6 eyes, or infinity, so no one worry. Purely cosmetic. There are 2 chapters in advance on Patreon. But anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Patreon AMBWEAKLY. 55 comments 0 vote. 2. Game of ours. Ribbon Pav, Orario Streets. Was I just lucky? I had just woken up, and have already run into one of the main characters. Given her desperation and lack of a familia, this must be before canon, but after her being kicked out by Hephaestus. Probably 2 months before Belle arrives in Orario. I reason. Hestia practically skips ahead, dragging me along by the hand. She's really short, but her grip is surprisingly strong for someone her size. I can't tell exactly how tall I am since this isn't my original body, that much I know. My perspective's different, slightly higher, and even hands look unfamiliar. I'll need to check my appearance properly later. But what truly concerns me, what should bother me, is how calm I feel. No fear, wonder or even excitement at suddenly being thrust into another world. Is this a trauma response from being betrayed by my best friends? Maybe even from having killed Denny. Or is it a side effect of being transmigrated? Even now, in a world of gods and monsters, I feel detached. Numb. I'm aware of emotions, but they feel muted. It's like I'm detached from the world. I catch several stares from passing adventurers. Some look surprised, others almost shocked. So my appearance stands out. Good to know. Whether it's in a good way, or bad way, I'll find out soon enough. But at least I'm not getting any looks of disgust. Did I at least get the skills I asked for? Great sage. I call out internally. Silence. Either I didn't get it, or I need the Falna to unlock any of my skills. I sigh. Hopefully it's the latter, otherwise, things become a lot harder. I wasn't expecting to feel hope. I note. So I'm not completely emotionless, or better yet, recovering. Eventually, we come to a stop in front of a weathered building. This is our home. Hestia announces with a dramatic flourish, arms wide and smile proud. I blink. It's a church, or once was. The white bricks are faded, moss clings to the outer walls, and several windows are either cracked or outright missing. Whatever paint is left is peeling off the walls. It looks like it hasn't been touched in years. She fidgets, glancing at me out of the corner of her eye. It might not be the best, but it gets the job done. She says quickly. It has character and lots of spirit. I look at her. Then at the church. Then back at her, watching as she tries to act confident despite being scared I'd change my mind. Are we going inside? I ask with a smile. Her face lights up instantly, and she thrusts her chest out with confidence. Of course. You get the grand tour from your goddess. VIP treatment. She flashes a wide grin and snatches my hand again, pulling me through the creaking double doors like an excited child. Inside, the main hall still retains some of its solemn grace. Rows of worn pews stand in silence. Dust particles swirl in the air from our intrusion. But Hestia pays it no mind. Come on, this way. She leads me straight to the altar, kneels beside the base, and begins yanking at a loose set of planks. Let me. I step forward, crouch beside her. You're about to become my goddess, right? I should help. Her blue eyes widen a little, genuinely touched. Hee hee. You're already so reliable, she says, patting my back as I lift the planks and reveal the hidden hatch underneath. Together, we descend. The basement is small and a bit cramped, but warm light from wall lanterns brings it to life as Hestia lights them one by one. There's a narrow bed against the wall, a couch pressed into the corner with a table in front of it, and a single stool beside the bed. It's cozy, I say, as expected of a goddess of the hearth, domestic life, and family. She spins around with her hands on her hips, beaming. Yup. Not bad, right? We'll be sharing this room. Her pride is genuine. Then she points at me dramatically. Now, take off your shirt. I blink. That's sudden. Her finger doesn't waver. It's so I can engrave your Falna. Hurry up, she says impatiently, but her excitement is tangible. I pull my shirt over my head and toss it aside. Her eyes go a little wide. Then she freezes as she stares at me, occasionally gulping down saliva. You're drooling. I say flatly. HHUH. She slaps both hands over her mouth, cheeks burning. I'm not. I smirk slightly. You weren't. But you looked like you might if I stayed quiet. Her face turns cherry red. She points at me with a trembling hand. Why you meanie. I watch in mild amusement as she stomps her foot, fist shaking in outrage. But then she takes a deep breath. Forces a serene smile. Let's engrave your Falna, she says sweetly. Too sweetly, even as her eye twitches, and her hands remain clenched into fists. I lay down on the couch without a word, pretending not to notice her thirst for vengeance. I feel a weight as she climbs onto my back, straddling my waist like it's the most natural thing in the world. I feel her shift slightly, then tug off her gloves. Should I say she's heavy? I think, entertained by the idea. She's not, but her reactions are amusing. It's the closest I've got to excited since I woke up. But ultimately, I let it go for now. She's already waiting to smack me. She pricks her finger with a needle, and I feel a warm drop of blood land between my shoulder blades. It spreads like ink across my skin, and for the first time since waking up, I feel something within me unlocking. Falna affects the soul, right? So is it unlocking my skills, since the anime never mentioned any sensations like this? Answer. The acquisition of a Falna has unlocked the unique skills, Great Sage, Predator, and Iron Heart. I blink in surprise, not having expected a response, and let out a sigh of relief. That's great, Sage, right? What else could it be? Answer. Yes. My lip twitches slightly. I was expecting either no answer, or something longer, I guess. But at least I got the skills. Which means I'm not screwed in terms of potential. But how these skills will interact with Falna is beyond me. I just need to wait for Hestia to finish reading my status. Speaking of Hestia, I look back, only to find her frantically reading my status while trembling nervously. Is something wrong? I ask, already having guessed the issue. She practically jumps in surprise at my voice. Nothing's wrong, she says, her voice shaky. You've just got an amazing status. I nod, choosing to let her take it at her own pace. I watch her take a status sheet, and lay down while she copies my status onto it. She climbs off of me, with a serious look on her face. Ribbon, she says seriously. Don't let anyone know about your skills, alright? I nod, already understanding the shit I'd be in if my skills, whatever effects they have, were exposed. Don't worry, I understand. It'll cause a lot of problems, right? I ask, and Hestia nods gravely, before handing me the paper. Less than status greater than. Name, Ribbon Alaric. Level 1. Strength, I0. Endurance, I0. Dexterity, I0. Agility, I0. Magic, I0. Less than development ability greater than, none. Less than magic greater than, none. Less than skills greater than. Great Sage, a higher cognitive support skill. Grants the user enhanced thought processing, parallel computation, memory storage, and predictive analysis in combat. Capable of rapidly interpreting new data, analyzing enemy abilities, and calculating optimal actions in real time. Thought acceleration allows the user to greatly increase the speed of their thought process. The user can adjust the level of acceleration as needed, up to a maximum of 1000x, as well as extend the effect to other individuals. Analytical appraisal releases waves that enter the target of analysis and perform a full scan of their composition, which is then sent back to the user. Through this, the user can gain information such as the material composition of the target, their statuses, and if they're under the effects of skills or magic. Parallel calculation allows the user to carry out multiple thought processes simultaneously. Chant annulment eliminates the need for chanting when using magic after a spell is analyzed or successfully cast. The spell is stored in the user's mind and available to be instantly cast just by thinking about its activation. All of creation allows the user to comprehend anything as long as they have a basic understanding of it and it is perceivable to the user. Predator, an absorption-based skill that allows the user to consume other creatures or substances entirely. Upon consumption, the skill breaks down the target and analyzes its properties. Predation absorbs the target into stomach. However, if the target is conscious, the success rate greatly decreases. Valid targets include, but aren't limited to, organic matter, inorganic matter, skill effects, magic, and exelia. Analysis. The absorbed target is studied and analyzed. Craftable items can then be produced. If the required materials are present, duplicates can be produced. In the case of successful skill or magic analysis, the same technique can be acquired if compatible with the user's biology. Stomach. A metaphysical space where all eaten or absorbed targets are stored. Items produced via analysis can also be stored. Anything stored in the stomach is not affected by the passage of time. Isolation. Harmful materials or unnecessary for analysis can also be stored. They will be used to replace magic energy. Iron Heart. A mental skill that suppresses emotion, heightens pain tolerance, and renders the user immune to psychological status effects. Emotion dulling. Suppresses core emotions such as empathy, guilt, compassion, and joy. Fear nullification. Immune to fear in all forms, including mind-altering magic, and instinctive terror. Pain nullification. All forms of pain are nullified. Damage is still incurred and recognized, but the user will not feel any pain. Mental manipulation immunity. Provides immunity to all forms of external mental effects. That explains a lot, especially why I haven't been feeling emotion like normal. I glance back at Hestia. She's still looking at me, eyebrows furrowed, her lips pressed into a worried pout. She's clearly concerned about the Iron Heart skill too. I'm fine, I say, preempting her next words. It's not like the skill makes me completely emotionless. I still feel things, albeit less than I'm used to. After a second, she lets out a slow breath and slumps back with exaggerated relief, probably having confirmed I wasn't lying. Geez, you scared me for a second. I knew something was wrong with you, and then bam, an emotional suppression skill. That's not normal. I shrug. Does it bother you that I'm not normal? Do you regret it? I ask curiously. Her eyes narrow at me and she folds her arms and turns away. HMPH. As if I'd care about stuff like that. I knew you were weird from the start, and as long as you're okay, I don't care. You're my family now. I'll never regret that. I smile. I'm so touched by your words, that I'm overflowing with emotion. I say sincerely, and a bit jokingly. Despite that, my words are genuine. She lights up, clearly very proud of herself, before realization sets in. She frowns at me, then glares at me angrily. Wait a second, she says slowly, squinting at the sheet. Your skill suppresses emotion. Oh, she's catching on. I smirk even more. You tricked me. She looks at me incredulously. Is this how you treat your goddess? She yells angrily, and I can already see her getting ready to tackle me. I shrug. You can tell I wasn't lying. I say with a smirk. Even if my emotions are suppressed, I'm still feeling something, which speaks volumes. At the very least, I'm being sincere. Messing with her is just a bonus. I really do feel happy that she considers me family. At the very least, I know I can trust Hestia. She is the goddess of family. She eyes me suspiciously, then huffs. HMPH. You better not be lying again. I can tell, you know. I know. You act as if lying to tease you is all I do. I roll my eyes. Her cheeks puff up in irritation, and she points an accusing finger. It is. I don't answer. Instead, I stretch a little and glance around. I guess the pain resistance is why I didn't feel anything when you sat on me earlier. Her eye twitches. Slowly. What? She says flatly. Oh, I didn't mean to say that out loud. I reply, feigning shock. It's rude to talk about a girl's weight. The effect is instant. Her face goes red. Ribbon. Before I can dodge, she launches herself at me like a ballistic missile, pushing me onto the couch, grabbing my shoulders and shaking me with surprising strength for someone so tiny. How dare you? I am not heavy. I'm petite and perfectly proportioned. I never said you weren't. But you implied it. I really didn't mean to say it out loud. I repeat, sounding as though I've been dealt an injustice. She lets go of me and slumps onto my lap, sniffling in misery. So you do think I'm fat? I stare at her and frown, feeling slightly bad. Only slightly, but I don't like the feeling. Did I overdo it? Answer. It is likely that the goddess Hestia is already aware of this, due to her ability to detect lies, and is attempting to emotionally manipulate you to repay you teasing her. I blink, unable to believe I fell for it. Thanks for the heads up, great sage. Answer. You are welcome. I look down at Hestia again, who's now making tiny fake sobbing sounds with her face buried against my legs. Even her shoulders shake in time with her sobs. I sigh. I know you're faking. You'd already know I was lying the moment I said it. Her head pops up immediately, and she looks at me with surprise and shock. How? My acting was flawless. Sure. I say plainly, reaching for my shirt. It was an amazing performance. I was nearly in tears. I'm not talking to you anymore. She mutters, crossing her arms as she gets up and turns away from me. I pull my shirt over my head, and I don't miss the regretful look in her eyes. I ignore it. Great sage, is there a way to disable Ironheart? Answer. There is no way to disable the skill once acquired. Figures. What about suppressing or removing the effects? Answer. Insufficient data to reach a conclusion about suppressing skill effects. The most likely method is to evolve the skill. That actually makes me pause. Can Falna even do that? Answer. The skill Ironheart was originally part of the user's soul, before acquiring Falna. Falna only allows access to the user's existing skills. It is possible to evolve it when the user does. I frown. When I evolve? Are you saying I can evolve? Answer. It is possible for the user to become an enlightened human, saint, and eventually divine human. Why? I'm not in the main world, so that shouldn't apply to me. Answer. Falna expands the user's soul. This expansion mimics the process through which one reaches enlightenment. In doing so, it allows for evolution. I nod slowly, digesting the information. 3 hours of conversation with Great Sage pass in 10 seconds thanks to thought acceleration, while Hestia continues ignoring me. My goddess. I call out to her, and she just huffs, turning her head away. I grin at this. I pretend to sigh. I'm sorry for upsetting you. I'm sure a kind, beautiful, and magnanimous goddess such as yourself will forgive me. She freezes, and I see a small smile forming on her lips. She turns to me, trying to appear serious, before exhaling loudly. I guess I have to. You're my first familia member, after all. I like this game of ours. I think. Even if she can tell I'm lying and playing with her, she plays along. That brings a smile to my face. Your only familia member. I correct, earning me a glare. I just laugh. Don't worry. Even if alone, I'd be enough. I won't let you down. I say sincerely. She blinks at me, caught off guard by my sudden sincerity. Quote. Well, she says with a huff, cheeks dusted pink. You better not. You're the entire foundation of the mighty Hestia familia now. So don't go slacking off. I nod solemnly. I'll do my best to carry all that weight, without mentioning yours again. Ribbon. She screams, and charges me again. I grab her arms, even as she struggles, laughing the entire time. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A.N. Hello everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. Please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones if you have enjoyed the chapter. So yeah, this is chapter 2. Kind of an info dump, especially the status section, but overall necessary. Nothing I can do about that. Anyway, plans can't adapt to the changes. I plan to have him be much more sociopathic, but a lot of stuff has to be considered. The skill was because of some words he said, not an inherent, fundamental change to never trust again. So making him someone distrustful like that is a bit much. I kinda wanted that initially, since it's what I'm comfortable writing, but nah. I'll write what feels right. Follow my heart and all that nonsense, lol. Do keep in mind, not everything written in the skill descriptions is everything. There are limitations quite reasonable and don't really need him, so don't worry that he'll discover on his own. As well as some other features that aren't explicitly mentioned in the skill description, like Great Sage being able to talk. There's more too. What do you guys think of the dynamic between him and Hestia? I'm going for a more chill MC this time around, and he's more for humor and fun. He's emotionally numb, so he kinda seeks thrills and things he finds entertaining, like teasing Hestia. There's also the fact that despite being emotionally numb, he still feels, reacts and behaves like a normal person. He feels emotions, recognizes them, but not strongly enough for them to affect his decision, suppress rather than eliminate, with string emotions breaking through. There's a lot of fun hints hidden in the chapter that allude greatly to future events, for anyone digging far enough, but it's all fun. I'm actually quite enjoying this book, even though I have to search far and wide for a lot of the specifics to a lot of things, like the trapdoor in the church. Not info easy to just discover since I have to go through the manga manually. And it's kind of liberating, since Keita has to be kinda perfect, and serious, even if healing slowly, to write someone more free, open and fun. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the chapter. Hope you all have a great day. 49 comments 0 vote. 3. Adventure or registration. Ribbon Pav, church basement room. A quiet groan escapes me as I stir awake, a strange pressure on my chest tugging me back to consciousness. I blink the haze away, only to find a familiar goddess snoozing peacefully on top of me. Quote. Seriously. I mutter, my eyes lazily drifting to the empty bed across the room. How the hell did she manage to migrate here in her sleep? Is this what Belle had to deal with every morning? I sigh softly, a half-smile tugging at my lips. Although, it's not exactly the worst way to wake up. Hestia is quite blessed. Still, it'd be a little weird to stay like this. Carefully, I ease myself out from under her, shifting her gently onto the couch and draping a blanket over her. She mumbles something in her sleep, but doesn't stir. I stretch, muscles loosening with satisfying pops, before my stomach promptly betrays me with a low growl. Right. I haven't eaten. Also on the list is registering at the guild, getting actual info on the dungeon, and maybe actually diving in. I quietly take some Valis from the small stash Hestia told me about. She likely saved up from her job. But she said I can use it if needed. I scribble a note and place it on the table before making my way out of the church. It was easy learning to write from Hestia last night with Great Sage's help. I hum. The morning air is crisp, the city already stirring with life. I find a vendor nearby and buy 5 kebabs for 200 Valis to fill my stomach. I devour them on the spot, savoring the juicy meat. My boots tap against cobbled roads as I walk toward the guild. It's only about 15 minutes from the church, but I take my time. It feels wrong to rush through it. The thing that immediately grabs my attention is the Tower of Babel, looming impossibly high above everything else. Even from a distance, it dominates the skyline, stabbing through layers of cloud like a sword striking towards heaven. The architecture's all medieval, obviously, but it's interesting. Buildings are arranged in orderly circles around Babel, and 8 wide roads stretch from the tower like spokes on a wheel, dividing the city into 8 districts. Even though I'm not walking through the main road, it's still bustling with people. They pass by in every direction, merchants wheeling carts, vendors calling out their morning deals, people chattering as they walk. And of course, the adventurers, scattered all over, decked out in various grades of armor and weapons. Some look like complete newbies. Others have the hardened look of veterans. I catch a few stares as I pass. More than a few, actually. Right. I glance down at myself. Probably stand out more than I thought. Great sage. Can you project a 3D model of my current appearance in my vision? Answer. Altering your vision to show a 3-dimensional model of your appearance. A moment later, a translucent, rotating model of myself appears in the corner of my sight. Yup. It makes sense now. Snow-white hair, slightly messy and curling toward the ends. Bright blue eyes, unnaturally so, like gemstones reflecting sunlight, they shine with ethereal beauty. I'm tall, 189 centimeters according to Great Sage. I've got a lean, fit build. And despite the plainness of my loose clothes, I can't exactly hide the way I look. I resemble a younger Gojo Satoru. Welp. I definitely stand out like a sore thumb. Not that I'm complaining. There are worse things than being stupidly good-looking, even if it might cause problems later. But that's a problem for my future self. Still, I deactivate the projection and refocus on my surroundings, brushing off the curious glances. The guild comes into view before long, one of the larger, sturdier buildings along the main road. Groups of adventurers mill about outside, some chatting, others arguing, a few clearly just back from the dungeon. I step through the doors. Inside, the space is even bigger than I expected. Marble floors, counters lining the walls with receptionists stationed behind each one. Most of them are already helping adventurers. To the right, there's a decently sized library section with shelves of books and scrolls, although it's entirely empty. Perfect. I can probably get all the info I need there. Rose Pav, guild counter. Another morning, and the same old routine. Adventurers stream in and out of the guild like clockwork. Some are returning from overnight expeditions, still stained with dirt and blood. Others are bright-eyed and eager, ready to throw themselves into the dungeon after a night's rest. Idiot. I watched one of them, mid-20s, maybe, stride away confidently after asking a few vague questions about the middle floors. You're not ready for that. I thought, impassively. No matter how tough you think you are. But I didn't say it out loud. Not this time. I'd already told him everything he needed to know. Whether he listened or not wasn't my responsibility. I sighed, quietly. Not from frustration. Not even from disappointment. I was just tired. Tired of watching them march to their deaths with smiles of hope on their faces. Tired of handing out warnings like we're pamphlets no one ever read. Tired of remembering the faces of people who'll never return. But then there's a momentary break from the familiar routine. Adventurers pause for a moment, glancing toward the door. Some hushed whispers, and a few whistles sound out. I look up only to see a boy, 16, maybe 17, stepping into the guild. No gear, no weapons. Tall, white-haired, and clean. His eyes, an unnaturally bright blue, scanned the room with quiet interest. I've never seen him before. I narrowed my eyes slightly. Another one looking to die young. I watched him for a second longer, then returned my focus to the adventurer standing in front of me. One by one, I fulfill requests like exchanging magic stones for Valis, or answering vague questions. Then, as I looked up again, the strange boy was next in line. Welcome to the guild. My name is Rose. How may I assist you? I asked, my voice neutral and professional. He smiled, just a small one, like he already knew I wasn't the friendly type and didn't mind. Hello to you too. I'm Riven. I'd like to register as an adventurer. Of course he would. I kept my expression stoic. Please be aware that adventuring is extremely dangerous. Fatalities are common. Do you still wish to register? I always ask that. Most brush it off. Some get nervous and hesitate. Only a rare few actually ever reconsider. Riven didn't even flinch. Yes, I'm sure. His tone was calm, filled with quiet confidence and certainty that made me study him more closely. And, he added, I want to register a new familia as well. That caught me off guard a little. I frowned slightly. A new familia. I echoed, already dreading the paperwork. He nodded. Still smiling. No veteran guidance. No support. No resources. Just another naive rookie underestimating the dungeon. Stopping them isn't part of my job. It's making sure they at least stand a chance if they take it. Wait here. I say, heading to the back. I returned with 2 forms in hand. This one's for registering your familia. The other is for registering yourself as an adventurer. He took them and gave them the quickest glance I'd ever seen, then looked back up. Do you have something I can write with? I handed him a quill, raising an eyebrow. It's often a time-consuming process, filled with various questions, but he filled them out quickly, with amazing precision. In less than a minute, he was done. All the essentials: name, deity, base of operations, level 1. Nothing more than the bare minimum information required to actually register. I took the forms, stamped them, and retrieved the standard starting kit, a basic knife and chest armor. As a new adventurer, you're provided a weapon and armor piece, I said, placing them on the counter. Additionally, you can request an advisor if you'd like. Someone to guide you. He accepted both items, turning the knife over once in his hand before nodding. I'd like an advisor. I gave him the advisor preference sheet. He scanned it for a moment. Then looked up and met my eyes, and I could detect a hint of amusement and mischief in his eyes. I think I'll go with a werewolf advisor, he said lightly, almost teasingly. Totally random choice. Hope that's not a problem. I'm used to such provocations, and don't dignify it. I didn't ask how you chose. I thought flatly, keeping my face composed. It's not an issue. But be aware, preferences aren't guarantees. Come back tomorrow for the result. He nodded, slipping the sheet back to me. Then he paused. One more question. I motioned for him to continue. Are those books over there open to everyone, or do I need to pay? My eyebrow rose slightly. No one ever asks about the library. They're free to read, I said. But you'll be fined for any damages you cause. He smiled again. Good to know. Then he turned, heading straight for the library. See you next time, Rose, he said over his shoulder, like we were old acquaintances. I watched him walk off, carrying the armor under one arm, and the knife now strapped loosely to his side. Why do I feel like he's going to be trouble? But if he's bothering to read, he can't be entirely hopeless. I sigh and turn to the next adventurer in line. Back to my routine. Ribbon Pav, Guild Library. The Guild's library wasn't anything grand, just a few dozen shelves tucked away in a quiet wing of the building, but for a new adventurer like me, it was a treasure trove. It's surprisingly comprehensive. I mused, eyes gliding over books as I walked through the aisle. Bestiaries, survival guides, floor maps, dungeon theory. Even personal accounts from adventurers. Only information up to the 12th floor seems detailed, with the 13th to 17th floors being more vague, and nothing beyond the 18th. I trailed a finger along the shelves. All right, great sage. You know what to do. Answer. Activating analytical appraisal. Scanning surrounding material for relevant content. I pulled a thick volume from the middle shelf, a comprehensive guide to development abilities. Good a place as any. I flipped it open as Great Sage worked in the background. The book laid out the basics of acquiring DOS, how the type of Exelia you acquire determines what options you might get, how to acquire common ones, and a list of most known DOS. Some methods were straightforward, prolonged exposure to the purple moon's poison for abnormal resistance. Others were vague or speculative. It's not perfect. I note, seeing all the empty passages. But it's better than nothing. Much of it, though, didn't apply to me. Great Sage, I called while skimming through the book. Predator negates the need for crafting-based DOS, right? Answer. Correct. Predator's analysis ability can replicate item, created with abilities such as mixing, alchemy, and blacksmithing, provided source materials are acquired. It is also possible to learn the underlying methods behind their creation, even without acquiring the development abilities. I nodded. That rules out half the list already. Predator also eliminates the need for spirit healing too, right? Answer. Mine can be recovered through consuming materials in stomach. Great. I can probably have Great Sage learn Elven magic too. Flipping to the next page, my eyes scanned over DOS like Hunter. First strike, strong body, all decent, but they don't complement my current skills. Offensive DOS can be compensated for with the right gear. I paused on two that seem useful. Mystery, and luck. Luck was, well, luck. There's nothing I could really do to acquire it, except rely on pure chance and a little divine favor. But mystery. That one intrigued me. I stared at the page. How do you get a DA like mystery, anyway? It allows you to activate a miracle and craft magic items with much better, and sometimes, unprecedented effects. I think about the people I know to have had it. Asfi, Fells, Barca, Ermid. What did they have in common? I murmured, my eyes narrowing. Asfi made high-grade explosives. Fells crafted the Philosopher's Stone, making them immortal. Barca was involved in the construction of gnosis. Ermid created healing elixirs and magical prosthetics. Each one made something unique and potentially miraculous. I tapped the book's spine. So either they could because they had mystery, or those feats allowed them to access the DA. The latter being more likely. What's your take, great sage? Answer. Based on observed data, it is likely the mystery DA is linked to the accumulation of Hydeia exelia through innovative or miraculous creation. Intent and impact may influence results. I smiled faintly. Then it's not out of reach. With Predator's analysis, and great sage's all of creation, creating magic items might actually be one of the easiest things for me to do, if I can get them. If I'm using skills, I might need to do something big. I let out a sigh. There's an easy way to potentially get what I want, although it's either very risky, or it frees me of a lot of my worries. Let's shelve that for now. I muttered, closing the book with a soft thud. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I wandered deeper into the library. Great Sage continued working in the background, scanning each book. Notice, all books have been analyzed. Efficient as always. I returned the book to its rightful spot and turned to leave. Can you summarize everything and upload it into my brain? Acknowledged. The process wasn't painful. It's more like remembering something that had always been there but simply forgotten. That's quite convenient. Thank you, great sage. Answer. You are welcome. I stepped out of the library and into the hall. All right then, on to the dungeon. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. Please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones if you enjoyed the chapter and book so far. So yeah, this is the chapter. Riven is about to venture into the dungeon and do stuff. I introduced Rose's Pav, although I'm not sure whether to make her a love interest. She seems more like someone he'd be great friends with instead. It was kinda hard to write her. The wiki isn't too comprehensive about her personality, and it's hard to be cynical and weary, while still caring, and being stoic and serious, but I tried my best. I noticed that most development abilities are useless to Riven, and mystery and luck seem the most useful for level 2. So, I tried applying some logic to the lore of how mystery is acquired, which could be wrong, given that there's no explanation besides it takes talent, luck, and opportunity. There are lots of things I think about. Like how much Riven should rely on Great Sage. I don't want it to seem like he's useless without it, but it's literally in the title Tears of Joy, so I did it like this. Convo partner Great Sage. I'm also planning to have him go to the Hostess of Fertility soon. I've got my reasons, I'm sure you all know them too, but let's pretend we don't beyond the obvious ones. And I've read fanfics where people hated that. Objectively, he can't avoid Freya forever, she'll eventually see him, even if when Belle appears, and it's likely Hestia would want to go to that restaurant eventually, given it's popular, and nearby. Running away is delaying the inevitable. Might as well be on his own terms. And the hardest thing this chapter was, 1. Figuring out the Valis currency. Like, how much should be even earn, but I think I've accepted what I arrived at. And 2. Who his advisor should be. It was either Aina, Rose or Misha, and I'm leaning towards Misha. Currently 4 chapters ahead on Patreon. patreon.com/amweekly. 4. This makes me feel alive. Riven Pav, Babel Tower, Dungeon Entrance. The first floor of Babel is lined with shops and stalls, but I only spare them a fleeting glance. I'm not here to shop. Instead, I make my way past the crowds, down the winding stone stairwell where the real entrance to the dungeon lies. The atmosphere changes instantly. The air is thick with tension, even before I see the massive hole in the center of the floor. A 10-meter-wide abyss with a staircase that spirals downward carved along its rim. The large circular chamber is filled with murmurs as dozens of adventurers linger near the edge of the hole. Some are in groups, checking gear or discussing last-minute strategy. Others stand silent, resting or waiting for something. I've got no reason to loiter. I think, after quickly observing the situation and step onto the stone stairs, each footfall echoing faintly in the gloom. Great sage. If I'm about to be hit by a fatal blow and don't notice in time, take control of my body to avoid it. Also, if I'm in danger and unconscious, or otherwise unable to act, take control of my body and ensure my safety. Command acknowledged. It's not that I expect to be knocked out anytime soon. But why would I refuse having a failsafe? After a few minutes, the descent ends as I arrive on the dungeon's first floor. A large stone cavern stretches out before me, the stone a light blue sheen. Everything is illuminated with a dim fluorescent glow, but it's bright enough to see clearly. There's still a crowd here, newbie and veteran adventurers clumped together, finalizing discussions or psyching themselves up for the journey that lies ahead. I walk away from the entrance, past the chatter and tension, until their voices fade behind me. 10 minutes later, it's quiet. There are no longer any adventurers around, but neither are there any monsters. It's just me. Alone. In a living labyrinth that wants me dead. How fun. I keep walking patiently, knowing I'll run into monsters sooner or later. My steps are slow and steady. I turn into a new corridor and finally see them. 3 goblins. They look up the moment I round the bend. Small, green, and ugly creatures with large eyes and long ears. One bares its teeth as it snarls at me. 2 carry crude wooden clubs and one is empty-handed but snarling with more attitude than the rest. I exhale slowly. Finally. It's strange, standing here for the first time, knowing this fight could kill me, but my pulse is steady. I don't feel any panic, or fear. Just clarity. Adrenaline surges in my limbs as my body recognizes the threat. My knife feels light in my hand, and my heart is racing, but not from fear. I'm excited. My lips curl into a small smile. Since arriving in this world, this is the most excited I've been. I've never been in a fight before, and I slightly regret not having been in one sooner given how wonderful it feels. The goblins screech and rush me together without hesitation, and I rush towards them as well. Once they're about 2 meters away, one leaps, raising its club high above its head. Another swings its club towards my legs. The last one jumps towards my legs, trying to tackle me. I don't slow down, continuing my dash forward as my eyes track their movements. The airborne goblin's club is descending toward my skull. I leap midrun, sailing over the 2 grounded goblins, and tilt my body slightly to dodge the swing, while thrusting my blade forward, drive it clean into its chest, as blood spills onto my chest. It shrieks. A short, high-pitched gurgling sound as blood floods its mouth. My body slams into the goblin midair, my momentum carrying us forward. Unfortunately, I miscalculated the angle, as the club slams into my side, forcing air from my lungs, as I land hard, cushioned by the goblin's corpse. I ignore the pain, thanks to Iron Heart, and roll on the ground, before springing back to my feet in one motion, my grip tight on my knife. A few bruises and scrapes, but I'm fine. I breathe, air rushing back into my lungs. I immediately focus on the 2 goblins who are already rushing towards me again. I raise my knife, ready for the second confrontation. Notice, thought acceleration activated. The world grinds to a still, or rather, extreme slowness. Analyzing combat exchange. Listing errors. Unnecessary injuries sustained. Wasted movements compiled. Poor weapon handling complied. Ineffective responses compiled. Inefficient breathing rhythm. Great Sage's voice rapidly echoes through my mind as it analyzes the entire exchange and compiles everything I did wrong or could have done better. Even if I asked it to do this so I could actually improve my skills. Great Sage is quite harsh. I think in amusement. Despite that, I'm not complaining since I consider this necessary. Summary. Combat potential suboptimal. Compiling errors and suggested improvements. Requesting permission to upload. Granted. The knowledge hits instantly, details about grip tension, posture corrections, breath timing on impact. All of it is engraved into my mind as though it's something I've always known. Notice. Upload complete. I smirk slightly as the goblins inch closer, moving at a snail's pace under thought acceleration. Great. Time for round 2. I think as I stare at the goblins, looking forward to honing my technique. The real fight begins now. Notice. Thought acceleration deactivated. Time resumes and the 2 remaining goblins are already closing in fast, but I'm already adjusting to the lessons I've learned. I hold my knife steady, adjusting my grip, while my muscles coil like springs. My breathing evens out. My heartbeat slows as I sharpen my focus. The goblins screech as they rush me. I brace myself, and the instant they cross the 20-meter threshold, I strike first. My right leg snaps forward, slamming into the face of the club-wielding goblin with bone-jarring force. Its shriek cuts short as it hurtles backward, its limbs flailing in the air. I don't stop. I twist using the momentum, step past the staggering goblin, and drive my knife clean into the throat of the unarmed one. Blood erupts in a sudden spray, drenching my arm. The body drops as I pull the knife out. One left. Everything starts to dull. My excitement fades into flatness, as the tension and thrill bleeds out of me, like a deflating balloon. It's no longer exciting. I note, watching the last goblin is trying to scramble up, snarling at me as if to warn me of its great threat. I step forward and stomp its hand, wrenching the club free from its grasp, then plunge my knife down with mechanical precision. The steel pierces its skull with a sickening crunch, pinning the creature to the ground like an insect on display. It twitches once. Then nothing. It only took a moment for a life and death struggle to become child's play. I lament. Notice. Thought acceleration activated. The world slows again, and Great Sage begins its cold analysis. Analyzing combat exchange. Inefficient stamina use. Unsustainable equipment use. Several missed opportunities to conclude the battle. Killing method unnecessarily prolonged. A steady and rapid voice streams through my mind. Precise and brutal as always. So this time it's not my technique, but my method. Summary. Average combat performance. Compiling recommended adjustments. Requesting permission to upload. I blink. Average. That stings a little. I realize I'm getting ahead of myself. They were just goblins. It doesn't take much to beat them, but I'll appreciate the small victory regardless. Permission granted. I think to Great Sage. Simulations flash through my mind. Images of how I could have used different angles, or achieved more efficient outcomes. In one, I shift slightly, letting two goblins align, and finish both with one sweeping strike across their necks. Upload complete. Thought acceleration deactivated. Time resumes again. I absorb the feedback, mentally bookmarking every lesson. That kind of efficient refinement will stack fast. Now, for a different test. I kneel beside one of the goblin corpses and place my hand on its chest. Predation. The body shudders, then vanishes in a swirl of dark mist, sucked into my palm like it was never there. Three things appear within stomach: a tiny magic stone, a goblin fang, and something odd. Glimmering, like silver dust. The magic stone was guaranteed, and I was just lucky to get a drop item. What is that? I wonder, but Great Sage comes to my rescue. Answer. It is a manifestation of Exelia within stomach, from the absorbed monster's body. I freeze, brow furrowing. Wait. The same Exelia used to improve Falna. I thought Falna just absorbed that naturally through the soul. Correct. However, due to the metaphysical properties of stomach, Exelia, which would normally dissipate, can be preserved and stored. My mind reels. That shouldn't be possible. Isn't Exelia a person's life experience and achievements? How can that be stored? And can I even use it? Answer. Affirmative. Falna utilizes only a portion of the relevant, pure experience generated so as not to overload, corrupt or damage their container. Predator's isolate skill automatically filters out all harmful effects of Exelia. Stored Exelia can be directed manually into your Falna, and infused into specific stats or development abilities. Single quote. Can I use it on someone else's Falna? Answer. Yes. However, significant quantity loss is expected during transfer. I blink slowly. My pulse spikes. Ironheart keeps me calm, but it doesn't take away from the shock. Transferring Exelia isn't something I need now, nor would I sell it, since I'd likely become a target. Great Sage, compared to what I would have absorbed normally, how much Exelia did that goblin give me? Answer. Approximately 10 times the standard absorption through Falna alone. 10 times. I exhale slowly, a smile tugging at my lips. Ironheart keeps me from screaming in joy, but even that skill can't take away the joy I feel. This changes a lot of things. I walk to the remaining goblins. Predation. They turn into mist, and get absorbed, with 2 magic stones and goblin fangs appearing in stomach, as well as the clump of Exelia enlarging. 3 goblins. 3 drop items. Wait. I pause, suspicion forming. I got drop items every single time. Great Sage, does Predator guarantee drop items? Answer. Yes. I stare down at the empty floor where the bodies once were. A battlefield swept clean by my own power. Then I close my eyes. I take a deep breath. And I smile. Yeah, this is great. Really, really great. I confirm the time with great sage, and it's only 11 a.m. It's still early. I murmur. There's plenty of time left in the day. Technically, I've tested everything I set out to. I understand Great Sage better, figured out how Predator works. I've even learned Exelia can be manipulated. Logically, I know I should leave now, and return another day with better preparations. But instead, I find myself descending. It'd be a waste to stop after just 3 goblins. I tell myself. There are too many adventurers up here. It'll be easier to train further down. It's not a lie, but it isn't the complete truth either. The real reason is that the first floor isn't enough for me. There's a thrill to it. It's exciting to be in a fight you might lose. The feeling of my heart racing when I fight is addictive. Ironheart eliminates fear, but it doesn't get rid of the excitement. I'm starting to crave it. The feeling. Ribbon Pav, Dungeon, 4th floor, 5:08 p.m. A body crashes into the dirt where I'd stood half a second earlier, sending up a cloud of dust and stone flying. I rolled out of the way, barely escaping the impact. Before the dust settles, I turn sharply, my knife drawn, and drive it straight into the snarling maw of a kobold mid-lunge. Its claws rake past my shoulder, but I've already twisted away. I grip its wrist as its body slackens, using its momentum to whip it sideways, hurling the dead weight into 2 goblins that had been creeping up behind me with rusted knives drawn. The goblins go down in a heap, shrieking in protest. I ignore them, and turn towards the dust, a grin on my face as adrenaline pumps through my veins. This makes me feel alive. A low hiss cuts through the air. The dust parts, just enough for me to see the wide-mouthed, scaled silhouette of a dungeon lizard, its long tail swaying behind it as it takes slow steps towards me. My eyes narrow. Now we're talking. I sprint straight toward it without hesitation. My boots slam against the dungeon floor with familiar confidence. The lizard charges too, maw stretching open to reveal rows of jagged teeth. It launches forward, faster than the kobold ever was. I watch with razor focus, understanding how important the timing is. I sidestep at the last possible second, dropping low as I slide my knife across its throat. The blade doesn't catch, it glides, parting scale and muscle like fabric. Blood erupts in a hot jet, splashing across my face and chest. It flies past and collapses behind me with a wet thud, thrashing once, then going still. I turn calmly, toward the recovering goblins. They're scrambling to stand, one still pinned beneath the kobold's corpse. Too late. I bolt toward them and drive my blade clean through the skull of the first, and immediately yank its rusty dagger from its hand and ram it into the chest of the second goblin before it can even raise its own weapon. Then silence descends on the dungeon once again. Breathing heavily, I scan the surroundings. There's no movement. Notice. Thought acceleration activated. Great Sage's voice hums in the background, already dissecting every move I made. Combat analysis in progress. Improved situational awareness. Moderate efficiency gains. Suboptimal stance recovery post-engagement. Slight overextension during kobold throw. I take the analysis serious, subconsciously thinking of improvements I could have made. Summary. Above average combat performance. Compiling recommended adjustments. Requesting permission to upload. A small sense of pride flickers in my chest, only to fade immediately, but I acknowledge it. From below to above average. I'll take it. Permission granted. Simulations dance through my mind, alternate executions, better techniques. I absorb it all. Notice. Upload complete. Thought acceleration deactivated. I don't waste time. Predation. The goblins and kobold dissolve into mist, spiraling into me as Predator consumes them. I walk over to the dungeon lizard's corpse, repeating the command. Blood pools around my boots, then vanishes. Everything is clean again, except me. I glance down at myself. There are a few shallow cuts on my arms, but nothing serious. As for the blood, I simply absorb it with Predator, making myself clean again. I stretch my shoulder, wincing faintly as a joint pops, and fatigue finally sets in. I've been fighting for 6 hours. Even if Ironheart eliminates the feelings of pain and fatigue, it doesn't prevent them. I sigh. I'm still human, with all my stats at 0. Even if I took a break every few groups, it's still too much. I lean against the stone wall for a moment, dragging my fingers through my white hair. I've earned a break. But I already know I'm not done yet. I've still got to go back. I smile wryly. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. Please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones if you have enjoyed the chapter, or book this far. It really helps the book out. I don't have much to say about this chapter, but how did I do? I focused more on the fight scenes. I'm not sure if I did it correctly, because, all things considered, his stats are still at 0. You see, his behavior is mainly because of Iron Heart, but he's not stupid. The reason he's relatively unscathed is because this isn't his limit. He hasn't yet used thought acceleration while fighting, because he's training. And he's not gonna do anything stupid like fighting monsters that you can't win against, just because of that. His emotions are suppressed, so he's kinda getting addicted to the thrill of life and death fights, but won't do stupid shit for thrills, don't worry. I think what I did with Great Sage was awesome. Using it improve his technique and combat effectiveness is a genius idea, in my opinion. He's not getting stronger, and he's actually putting it effort, rather than power being handed to him, and he's not suddenly gotten stronger. I mean, once he updates his status, that's a different thing. But he'll be someone who actually trains his powers, rather than just being good at everything easy. Now, about Exelia. Complex stuff. But I've gone with this method. I tried to logic it, so hopefully it makes sense. Anyway, I think I've decided on his advisor, so yay. And I think I've realized how to do the currency, so that's great too. Do you guys like fight scenes like this? Or should I try something else? Thinking face. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. 63 comments 0 vote. 5 I'm not going anywhere. Ribbon Pav, Tower of Babel, first floor 5:30 p.m. Getting back was simple enough. I had Great Sage map the fastest route to the exit, weaving past clusters of monsters and only taking out the stragglers who stood in my way. By the time I reached the spiral staircase leading out of the dungeon, it was 5:30 p.m. A few curious stares followed me as I ascended into the first floor of Babel, which wasn't too surprising. I really should have brought a bag. It's probably strange for an adventurer to return from the dungeon with no visible loot. Not even a pouch. Most would assume you were either robbed, or are hiding something. And I am hiding something. All of my spoils are tucked away in stomach. It's convenient, but extremely suspicious if anyone were to notice. Spatial storage abilities are absurdly rare in this world. I've yet to even hear of anyone possessing one. Which is why I only hand over 17 goblin stones at the exchange, after having discreetly slipped them into my pockets. 2,550 Valis. The clerk states flatly. I accept the Valis and immediately purchase a standard backpack for 2,000. I can't afford to draw attention and suspicion just to make things slightly more convenient. Once outside, I duck into a quiet alley and transfer all my stored items into the bag. A mundane bag filled with mundane loot. The only thing suspicious is the quantity of drop items. By the time I reach the guild, it's a little past 6. The lines are long, but I choose the shortest one and wait it out. 10 minutes pass. Finally, I reach the front, only to be greeted by a perky voice and a wave. Evening, says the pink-haired receptionist behind the counter. I'm Misha. How can I help you today? Bright, pale pink eyes, a bubbly tone, and a smile that looks a tad bit too curious. Classic Misha. Her personality's hard to miss, even if she didn't get much screen time in the anime. Hey, I'm Ribbon. I want to exchange some magic stones and drop items. Her eyes flick over me, and I see the recognition spark. Oh, she grins. You're the new guy who registered this morning, right? The one who tried flirting with Rose. So she was watching me, or maybe Rose said something after all. I nod. Yeah, that's me, but I wasn't flirting. Is something wrong? Not at all. She says sweetly, folding her hands. But you're from a brand new familia, right? I was just wondering, did someone show you the ropes? Or did you team up with another party? You don't look too beat up, so I don't think you were dumb enough to go solo for your first time. Her voice is chipper, but there's a subtle edge of concern underneath. I smile. Well, I did go alone. So I guess I am dumb. Her cheerful demeanor falters, and we just stare at each other in silence. Then she coughs lightly and pastes on a professional smile. Of course not. I'm sure you were smart enough to stay on the first floor. About that. I went to the fourth. Her smile twitches. She frowns. If you're just messing with me, I'll get mad, okay? I shrug. Fair. But seeing you flustered is fun. She glares at me with narrowed eyes. I grin, unaffected by the stare. Anyway, I'd prefer to use a private booth. It's kind of a lot. Her expression shifts towards exasperated. Private booths come with a fee if you don't have an advisor, you know. Huh. I in fact didn't know. I nod anyway. It's worth the cost to keep suspicions low. I can't just dump a small mountain of drop items in front of a crowd and expect no one to ask questions. I'll pay. All right then, she says with a businesslike smile. Follow me. She leads me through a side door into a modest booth with a table and chairs. I take off the backpack, set it on the table, and unzip it slowly. Then I flip it and dump the contents in a neat pile: magic stones, goblin fangs, kobold claws, and lizard scales. Misha's smile falters again. This is everything? She asks, blinking at the pile. Yep. I fold my arms. Why? Something wrong. Her brows knit. Didn't you say you went alone? MMHM. And all this, she gestures, came from you. Not bought off other adventurers to pad your numbers for whatever reason. I chuckle softly. Why would I need to pad numbers? It's not like I get a bonus, and looking more capable than I am could cause me to die. So no. I hunted everything myself. I must be really lucky. Her expression is skeptical, but she doesn't press, given that my words make sense. Instead, she begins sorting through the pile, using a measurement tool to assess the magic energy of each stone. As she works, I hear her mutter under her breath, he really did go to the 4th floor. Eventually, she finishes counting and looks up. You've got 20 goblin stones, 37 fangs, 22 kobold stones and nails, plus 6 dungeon lizard stones and lizard scales. She checks the tally again, then does some quick math on a slip of parchment. Total value: 26,200 valis. Minus the private booth fee, your payout comes to 25,200. Is this acceptable? Yeah, I don't think you'd scam me. I nod, satisfied. It's not a bad haul at all for my first day. She steps out to retrieve the payment, returning a few minutes later with a heavy bag of coins. Thank you for using the guild exchange, she says with a polite tone, but there's still a trace of curiosity behind her eyes. Thanks, Misha. I drop it into my bag, and offer her a smile. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot more of each other. She blinks, then gives a short, amused laugh. Guess we will. Try not to die, okay? Definitely. I wave as I step out. No further words are needed. I'll simply let my results speak for themselves. Still, I'm exhausted. I can ignore the ache in my muscles with iron heart, but mental fatigue builds up. I let out a long breath as the sun begins to dip beyond the horizon. I'm definitely going to be in trouble when I get back. Hestia Pav, abandoned church 6:28 p.m. Where is he? I whisper softly to myself, my voice barely rising above the hush of the evening breeze. The last light of the setting sun pours gently over me, illuminating the street around me, but no matter how bright the light is, I can't feel its warmth. I sit on the crumbling stone steps of our little church, hugging my knees to my chest, as the street remains silent around me. He should have been back by now. When I woke up, he was already gone. All he left was a note, saying he'd go to the guild and register himself and the familia. But when I checked, they said he'd already registered in the morning. That leaves only one place he could be. The dungeon. My stomach twists. He wouldn't. I murmur, trying to convince myself. He wouldn't go there alone, not on his first day, not without telling me, right? My mind spins with possibilities, each darker than the last. Maybe he regretted joining me. Maybe he realized he could do better. Join a richer, stronger familia. One with resources and prestige. One with a god or goddess with more experience and can actually help him. One who's not me. A useless goddess with no status, no valis, and no strength to protect her only child. What if he really left? My throat tightens at the thought. What if I wasn't enough? But even as the thought takes root, I shake my head fiercely. No. Ribbon isn't like that. He looked me in the eyes and said we were family. And I believed him. I still do. Which means, my heart plunges. He's probably in the dungeon. And if he's been gone this long, he must have gone deeper than the 1st floor. He's probably down there right now, all alone. Maybe he's hurt, scared, bleeding. Or worse. Tears sting my eyes before I can stop them. I clutch my knees tighter. I should have stopped him. I should have been woken up sooner. I should have warned him to wait. I should have done something. But I was sleeping. I was resting while my child, my first ever child, might be dying. What kind of goddess am I? My tears finally overflow, trailing warm down my cheeks as I press my forehead against my knees. The silence around me grows heavier as the minutes crawl by. Every second he doesn't return digs deeper into my heart. I feel guilty, powerless, terrified. And then, a shadow falls over me, cutting off the last rays of daylight. My breath catches. For a second, I can't move. Can't believe it. Then, quote dot dot dot. Hestia. My heart stops. And then it surges. Ribbon. I throw myself at him with a strength I didn't know I had, crashing into his chest and clinging to him as tightly as I can. My arms wrap around his neck, while my legs circle around his waist without thinking. I bury my face in his shirt as the tears come rushing back, this time from overwhelming relief. He's back. I was so scared I lost you. I sob into him, my body shaking. I thought you were. He says nothing at first and only holds me. One of his arms loops securely under my legs, the other gently holds my back. It's okay, Hestia. He says softly, his voice gentler than usual. I'm not going anywhere. I nod into his chest, my cries muffled by fabric. I can feel his heart beating, slowly and steadily. It makes me feel at peace. For a while, we stay like that, just the two of us on the steps of the worn-down church, no one to witness this scene but us. Freya Pav, Tower of Babel 7 p.m. Who is he? The question lingers in my mind, as I desire to speak a name I've yet to hear. I gaze down upon Orario from my room on the highest floor of Babel. The city sprawls beneath me, beautiful lights shining as evening fades to night, but my eyes no longer care for it. Not after what I've seen. It happened barely an hour ago. A dazzling brilliance unlike anything I've ever witnessed just walked out of the dungeon. A soul so bright it eclipsed all others. That color. I murmur aloud, my voice trembling with awe and hunger. It wasn't a color I could describe, nor one I could even have imagined existed. It was new. An original shade that doesn't exist anywhere else. Something about it draws you closer, like a hungry abyss waiting to devour you. Yet it carries an air of wisdom and authority, but is basked with an aura of detachment. It was beautiful. It took my breath away the moment I saw it. I've watched the souls of mortals for centuries, and even Albert's soul can't compare. This boy, whoever he is, demands attention. He's filled with infinite potential, just waiting to be unleashed. I run a hand through my long silver hair, feeling the faintest tremor in my chest. Something I haven't felt in a long time. Curiosity. Excitement. Desire. Obsession. I close my eyes and recall his color and brilliance again. The sharp pull of fate when I first saw him. I wasn't looking for him, yet he appeared before me. Why now? Where had he been hiding? How had a soul like that evaded my gaze for so long? I exhale slowly, my hand pressing against the window as moonlight bathes my body. No matter. He's here now. And he belongs to me. I say softly, but an undercurrent of desire taints my voice. But, he has a falna. I frown. But his vessel is undeveloped. So he must be a newly minted adventurer. Which means, whatever familia he's in, he hasn't been in for long, and he can still be taken. A small, elegant smile curls my lips. My fingers trace the window, imagining his face instead of glass, visualize the color of his extraordinary soul. I want to know who he is. I want to know what kind of strength such a soul can give rise to. I want to see what heights he'll ascend to when nurtured, when pushed to his limits. And I want to be the one he looks up to when he gets there. A quiet thrill stirs within me, and I can't wait to see him bloom. Which familia is he in? I'll find out soon enough. It's only a matter of time. I will watch, and I will wait until I can see him again. Because he is mine. I whisper. And soon, I'll make sure he sees it too. He'll desire me soon enough. And no one can stop me. After all, I always get what I want. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. How are you? Good. Great. Please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones if you enjoyed the chapter and book so far. So, moving on to the chapter Tears of Joy, I think I pushed things a bit. To be entirely honest, most of everything this chapter could have been entirely avoided. But, I wanted to show how this isn't canon yet. Hestia is quite an insecure goddess. She just got her first familia member, and he disappears the next day, then it becomes a situation of her thinking he's about to die. Some might say she's overreacting, which I agree, but that's how Hestia is. In canon, whenever Belle is late, she gets worried, and here, they haven't known each other all that long, and there's a lot less security. I assume in canon Belle got some training, warnings and so on, so yeah. I think it kind of fits, and I wanted something emotional here for what I'm planning on future. Which is obviously developing Ribbon's emotions. But we'll see how well that goes. As for Freya finding him out so soon, that's inevitable. Truth be told, he wanted to be found by Freya, so he was gonna go to the hostess soon, like next chapter, since he wants to get the mystery DA, through a grimoire, and he don't got 100 mil to buy one tears of joy. I'll tell you the truth, Riven is underestimating Freya's craziness. It's genuinely a miscalculation on his part. But it was all part of my plan, have I become Aizen. He has no idea what his soul looks like, nor that she saw him already, or how bright it actually is. He has multiverse level potential with Great Sage, so yeah, he fucked up. But it won't go straight to a bad end, so no one worry. Trust me, this sounds shady as hell. Another thing, do you guys want an Ox chapter where I list the prices of things? I'm keeping them relatively consistent. And have tabulated it, so yeah. I try to keep track of the math. Finally, Freya's the kind of girl who'll ruin your life. Am I weird for wanting my life ruined? Loudly crying, loudly crying, loudly crying. That's all from me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. 6 advanced chapters on patreon.com/amweekly. 60 comments, 0 vote. 6 status update. Ribbon Pav, church basement room. I kneel on the floor, back straight, hands on my thighs like a repentant monk. Hestia sits cross-legged on the bed in front of me, arms crossed, glaring with all the divine fury a 4.5 feudal goddess can muster. She's trying her hardest to look intimidating. And she fails spectacularly. Is having mortals kneel a divine kink or something? I muse, keeping my face solemn. But I'll play along, and follow her divine will. Hestia narrows her eyes. Do you know what you did wrong? She asks, her tone heavy with reprimand. I do, I reply seriously, my tone respectful. I'm truly sorry for my actions. She squints slightly, chin lifting in pride. And what exactly are you sorry for? For worrying you, goddess, I say sincerely, even putting emphasis on the title. Might as well feed her ego while I'm here. It works. The corners of her lips curl with satisfaction, and for a second, her stern mask nearly slips. At least you know that much. She huffs. But what about going into the dungeon alone, without telling me, and putting your life at risk? You do realize that's a problem, right? I sigh internally. She just had to ask it like that. I don't answer immediately, and her eyes sharpen. Well, are you sorry for that too? Quote. Goddess, I say slowly, can we skip that part? I'll lie and say I'm sorry, you'll know I'm lying, and then you'll get mad again. Her mouth opens, then closes. She looks astounded by my audacious response. Then she huffs, glaring at me, but I can tell she's flustered and confused. Then you'll stay kneeling until you are sorry. I would, I nod solemnly. But my knees are starting to hurt. Hestia hesitates, almost concerned, then she suddenly deadpans. Quote. That's a lie. Quote. Okay, yes. I don't feel pain, but I still know it should start hurting about now. I smile faintly. But that's not the point. I shift my tone, softer now. Goddess, I am sorry I hurt you. I never wanted to make you cry. I didn't mean to make you worry. Her expression falters slightly. But I'm not sorry I went into the dungeon. Her eye twitches, any sympathy evaporating. You could have prepared better. You just dove in with no plan. I had a plan, I interrupt gently, standing up despite her punishment, my defiance causing her eyes to widen in surprise. I didn't go in recklessly. I never used my full power. I wouldn't needlessly risk my life. I stayed within the 4th floor, where there are only goblins, kobolds, and dungeon lizards. I step forward, reach out, and pat her head and ruffle her hair. She stiffens at the contact, cheeks going red. Hey. Don't pet me. I'm not a kid. I'm older than you by thousands of years. Funny. I thought most women liked bragging about being young, not old. She doesn't answer. Instead, she lunges at me without warning. How dare you? I dodge, snatching her out of the air in a smooth, practiced motion, cradling her like a princess. Careful, I say with mock concern. You'll give yourself a divine aneurysm. Imagine dying of anger and getting sent back to heaven. How tragic, and embarrassing. She glares up at me, crossing her arms and pouting. I'm not talking to you anymore. I smirk. Is that supposed to be a threat? She turns her head dramatically, nose up in the air. But despite all her anger, she doesn't ask to be put down. So she's not actually against being carried. I note, happy to oblige. Would you keep ignoring me even if I told you I made over 20,000 valis today? I ask casually. One eye opens. A suspicious squint. I saw your bag was empty. I stored it with my skill. I hold out one hand, palm open, and summon the pouch from stomach. Her eyes widen like saucers. The second the bag hits her hand, she pops it open and peers inside. Her whole face lights up. Wow, so many coins. She gasps, hugging the pouch to her chest. I chuckle. Am I forgiven, my merciful, beautiful, and endlessly generous goddess? She pretends to clear her throat, clearly trying to hide her embarrassment. Well, it's not like I wanted to stay mad, and we do need to celebrate you joining the familia and your first time entering the dungeon. She trails off, cheeks glowing pink, but she's already smiling. But only this time, alright. She adds quickly, raising a finger like a teacher scolding a student. Don't make me worry like that again. I promise to try. I say gently, watching her cradle the pouch delicately. She giggles to herself in my arms, counting coins in her head, cheeks flushed, small frame resting against me without a hint of resistance. Exactly why I hid the money first. She's way too easy. I think fondly. I feel a warmth in my chest as I look down at her that even Ironheart can't suppress. I let Hestia play with the pouch for a few more minutes. Of course, I continue carrying her since it's oddly satisfying. Hestia. I call out. She glances up, seemingly to have her eyes part from the coins. Can we update my status? I ask, resisting the urge to roll my eyes. Her eyes snap wide open. I completely forgot. In one swift motion, she launches herself out of my arms like a missile. It's unfortunate, but other than that, her ability is impressive. Take off your shirt, she demands as she points to the bed. Hurry up. I nod, obliging her with an amused smile as I peel off my shirt. Is she excited to update my status? Hestia, in all her subtlety, stares openly at my torso, a blush blooming across her cheeks. She is one of the virgin goddesses. Did she become unhinged after descending? I wonder. Either way, I've got no reason to be shy about my goddess seeing my nipples. I muse, before lying face down on the bed. A moment later, she hops up onto my back, straddling me. Is it necessary to sit on my back for this? I ask curiously. She squints down at me. Do you have a problem with it? Not at all. Just wondering. Joke's on you. I'm into this shit. I think internally, suspecting I'd get smacked if I said that out loud. She pricks her finger, and I feel a drop of divine blood land on my back. Notice, Falna is being updated. Would you like to distribute Exelia stored in stomach? Yeah. Distribute it evenly across all of my basic attributes. What's happening? Hestia gasps from above, her voice rising in pitch. How is this even possible? Is something wrong, my goddess? I ask sweetly, innocence dripping from my voice. She squeaks. Just a bit more growth than I expected. A bit, huh? She doesn't move for a few seconds, probably making sure her eyes aren't playing tricks on her. Then she starts scribbling my updated status onto parchment, muttering something under her breath that sounds suspiciously like, monstrous child. Finally, she hops off my back and hands me the sheet with slightly trembling hands. The first arrow is normal Exelia being distributed, then the second is from the Exelia in stomach. It's 10 times the amount absorbed, for anyone curious. And above 999 it gets significantly harder, so he won't speed run levels. Less than status greater than. Name. Ribbon Alaric. Level 1. Strength. I0, I56, C698. Endurance. I0, I38, C680. Dexterity. I0, H167, A809. Agility. I0, I60, B702. Magic. I0, I0, C642. Less than development ability greater than, none. Less than magic greater than, none. Less than skills greater than. Great Sage, a high-tier cognitive support skill. Grants the user enhanced thought processing, parallel computation, memory storage, and predictive analysis in combat. Capable of rapidly interpreting new data, analyzing enemy abilities, and calculating optimal actions in real time. Thought acceleration, analytical appraisal, parallel calculation, chant annulment, all of creation, predator, an absorption-based skill that allows the user to consume other creatures or substances entirely. Upon consumption, the skill breaks down the target and analyzes its properties. Predation, analysis, stomach, isolation, iron heart, a mental skill that suppresses emotion, heightens pain tolerance, and renders the user immune to psychological status effects. Emotion dulling, Fear nullification. Pain nullification. Mental manipulation immunity. Quote. Wow. The word escapes me before I can stop it. Even I wasn't expecting that much of a jump. At best, I expected all stats to jump to 200, or 300 at most. You don't even have any magic. Hestia finally breaks down. So why is your magic stat so high? Not to mention everything else. Crank. Barank. What did you do? She grabs my shoulders and starts shaking me like a maraca. I'd tell you, if you stopped shaking me. I wheeze. She stops, dropping me ruthlessly. Luckily, there's a bed below me. I take a breath, then explain. I walk her through my dungeon run. Killing over 60 monsters solo, and delving up to the 4th floor, using only a dagger and my leather chest piece. I explain how Predator allowed me to consume Exelia directly and how it's 10 times the usual gain. I gracefully leave out the part where I enjoyed nearly getting killed a little too much. Hestia stares at me, pale and speechless, horror dawning in her eyes. I watch Hestia nearly have a panic attack as she realizes how much danger I was actually in. While updating my Falna allows her to see my history, it's a watered-down version of what I've experienced. And with Ironheart making me feel no fear, and suppressing my emotions, it must have felt quite calm. To her, I must have felt like I was fighting puppies. You're forbidden from going into the dungeon alone ever again. She commands, her voice rising as she stomps her foot. I pull my shirt back on calmly. Nope. That's not how adventuring works. She scowls. Besides, I continue, I was never in any real danger. The only reason it wasn't even easier was because I didn't use thought acceleration during combat. I was training. Hestia throws her hands up in defeat, puffing out her cheeks. Quote. You're impossible. Thanks. I try, I grin. Oh, and you should really learn to lock my Falna. I'd rather not have strangers peeking at my stats. Not that I'd let them. She blinks. Wait, I can do that. I deadpan at her. Quote. You're the goddess. Why are you asking me? I'm new to this too, okay. She huffs, but I can see she's embarrassed. I'll ask Hephaestus how to do it. Good plan. With a stretch, I clap my hands. Now, celebration time. I hear the hostess of fertility has great food. Why don't we go eat there? Her eyes sparkle like stars. Yes. That place is amazing. Before I can say another word, she grabs my hand and starts dragging me up the stairs, and out of the basement. I let her. Despite the ridiculous status increase, I have no trouble controlling my strength. Still, I'll need time to fully adapt to the difference. As for the real reason I suggested the hostess. I need to see how Freya, or Sir, reacts to me. I can't see my own soul. But Freya can. Whether it's because I'm a transmigrator or my unique skills, I need to know if she sees something in me. At best, she finds nothing special and ignores me. It means I'm at least safe from her schemes. But I'm hoping she's at least intrigued by what she sees. Maybe she'll even drop a grimoire like she would for Belle, then shifts her focus once he shows up. While I'd feel bad throwing him under the bus, I'm sure he can handle her love. In the worst case, she goes full psycho and sends someone to kidnap me. But I can't switch familia for a year, so I'd be fine for a while. I swallow that thought with a dry chuckle. My luck's not that bad, right? Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. If you enjoyed the chapter, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out. So yeah, it's quite op. The status jumped like crazy because of the way I'm making Exelia work. It's 10 times plus original of whatever he kills. So it wouldn't depreciate since it's stored purely. Of course, it won't be that easy after 999, and would actually take him a while. Made easy by high-rank Exelia if he absorbs the two. But still a while. As for the pace, I think it's quite slow, which is intentional on my part. I've learned a lot, and I'm developing relationships slowly this time, right from the start, instead of rushing. I try to be accurate with the numbers and everything, so let me know if you see an error, and overall, just how you feel about the chapter. Kinda looking forward to Freya running into him, and maybe Loki's reaction if I write them being at the hostess around that time, but I'm not too sure yet. For the status, I removed descriptions for the sub-abilities, since it's unnecessary. Do you guys think the description for the main skill is needed, or can I just leave it? I left the sub-skills so that anyone can refresh their memory, but it's not that deep. Anyway, that's all from me. Have a wonderful day. 6 chapters ahead on Patreon by the way at patreon.com/amweekly. 119 comments 0 vote. 7 obvious choice. Riven Pav, hostess of fertility, 9:21 p.m. Hestia hums as she marches toward the tavern, each step practically bouncing with glee. I follow a half step behind, hands in my pockets, eyes on the golden lantern light spilling from the windows. Laughter, music, and clinking mugs fill the night air. It's lively. I hum. What a shame I'm walking into the lion's den and banking on it being whelped. Just as we're about to step inside, I grab Hestia's shoulders and pull her aside. Wah! Riven. She gasps, startled by the sudden motion. And in that moment, 2 very inebriated adventurers explode through the door, flying past where we were just standing. They hit the street with a graceless, meaty thud, groaning incoherently. Quote. That's certainly a memorable first impression. I say plainly. Keep it civil, and you won't be next. A deep, amused voice chimes in from the doorway. I turn to see her. A tall, broad, and built like a tank woman in an apron. A long braid of brown hair falls over her shoulder, and her sharp eyes gleam with warning and mischief. Arms crossed. Mia Grande. I meet her gaze evenly. Hey, you almost hit us. Hestia blurts, flaring up in my grasp. I clamp a hand gently, but firmly, over her mouth before she goes off on a level 6 ex-adventurer. Sorry about that, I say calmly. We're quite well behaved. Are there any tables open? Mia eyes me. I feel her analyze me. I sense she's interested by the way I handled things, as well as amused. Her smirk returns. I like you, she says. Sorry about the rough welcome. Those 2 had it coming. She gestures toward the still groaning adventurers outside. Never seen you 2 before. What are your names? She asks, calling one of the waitresses over. I release Hestia, she's still pouting but she trusts me enough to remain quiet for now. You can call me Riven. I reply politely. And this is my goddess, Hestia. Hestia crosses her arms and gives a little, HMPH, still annoyed. Mia chuckles. Pleasure. I'm Mama Mia. This place is mine, so play nice, or you'll get a personal lesson in manners from me. She smiles menacingly. I nod respectfully. Understood. Just then, a petite girl with sleek black hair and emerald eyes pads over with feline grace. Her ears flick slightly, she's a cat person. Yes, ma'am, she asks. Chloe, get these 2 seated and take their order. Mia says before turning to us one last time. Enjoy yourselves. But remember, no roughhousing. She walks off with a laugh. Chloe studies us for a moment with curious eyes. Haven't seen you around before. I definitely remember someone as cute as you. She winks at me, much to Hestia's displeasure, before flashing a coy smile. Right this way. She leads us between crowded tables, weaving through the lively tavern, rowdy adventurers, waitresses balancing trays. It's bustling, chaotic, and oddly cozy. We settle at a small table in the corner, near the window. Here are your menus, Chloe says with a smile. I'll be back in a few minutes. As she walks away, Hestia turns on me with a sharp frown. Why'd you do that? I was ready to give her a piece of my mind. I sigh, resting an elbow on the table. Because that piece might have earned us a one-way ticket through the door, like those guys. Mia's level 6, and doesn't care you're a goddess. Hestia's eyes widen. She's level 6. Yup. She's a former adventurer. A scary one. That deflates her instantly. Ooh, I didn't know. I shrug. Don't worry. As long as we don't start anything, we'll be fine. Let's just enjoy the night. She fidgets a little, but eventually her gaze falls to the menu, and her jaw drops. Her eyes grow huge as she takes in the full-color illustrations of dishes. Roasted boar skewers dripping with sauce, fruit-filled pastries dusted with sugar, bubbling cheese-topped stew. Bingo. Her stomach grumbles loudly. I smile, casually looking through my own menu. Let's order whatever we want. I'm hitting the dungeon again tomorrow anyway, and I'll earn more Valis. You really mean it? She asks, practically bouncing in her seat. I wouldn't say it if I didn't. Just remember we've only got 20,000 Valis. A few moments later, Chloe returns, a quill in hand. Ready to order. Yeah, Hestia says with a sparkle in her eye. She begins tapping her manu, showing Chloe her orders. Ooh, roasted garlic chicken, 2 pork buns. That apple tart looks amazing too. Oh, and fruit liquor. I blink at the sheer speed of her response. I'll have a grilled steak, the stew, and some rice. I also want some fruit liquor. Chloe jots everything down quickly, her tail flicking lazily. Got it. Drinks'll be out first. She glides away just as quickly as she came. I lean back, relaxing into the warm wood of the chair. As we wait, I fill Hestia in on my plans for tomorrow, returning to the dungeon to make money, meeting my guild advisor afterward, and maybe looking at some weapons. I can make them at cost if I have great sage analyze them. She listens attentively, chin propped in one palm, her eyes never fully losing their brightness from the meal she's about to receive. Promise me you'll be careful, she says after a while. I will. I reply with a calm smile. I won't leave you alone. She blushes and looks away. Even if you say that, I'm just the goddess who has to worry. I chuckle and reach across the table to gently tap her forehead with 2 fingers. Then I'll get strong enough so you'd never have to worry. I say with a teasing smile. I'll always worry, no matter how strong you get. She says seriously, as we lock eyes. Our little heart-to-heart is cut short when Chloe glides back to our table with 2 mugs in hand, her tail swishing behind her. Pardon the interruption, she purrs, clearly not sorry in the slightest. But your drinks are here, you can continue your flirting. Her grin is smug, and her sharp green eyes sparkle with amusement as she places the mugs down. I raise an eyebrow, smirking back. You're definitely enjoying this. Immensely. She says, unapologetic. I gesture to Hestia with a theatrical sigh. And here I thought my goddess was finally behaving like a goddess. Hestia's foot connects with my shin under the table. I always behave like a goddess. She huffs, crossing her arms with a pout that looks anything but divine. I look at her flatly. That hurt. I complain, even if it didn't. Chloe chuckles, clearly entertained. You're brave, I'll give you that. Teasing your goddess in public. You must have a death wish. Bravery is a noble trait. I grin, glancing at Hestia, whose smugness is starting to show cracks. Besides, maybe I like her punishments. Hestia's nostrils flare as her expression twitches. Chloe bursts into laughter, covering her mouth with the back of her hand. I'll go get your food before things escalate, she says, still chuckling as she walks away. I lean back in my chair with a sigh as I look at Hestia, who seems quite calm. She's getting used to my nonsense way too fast. My eyes drift across the tavern, casually scanning faces. Drunk adventurers, laughing patrons, waitresses moving between tables, but no sign of Sir. Huh. Is she not here tonight? My brow furrows slightly. Could it be because I came with Hestia? If memory serves, Sir and Hestia never interacted much in the canon, if at all. Is she avoiding Hestia to protect her identity? Guess I'll need to swing by again on my own. I shake the thought away as I lift my drink. Come on. I say to Hestia, who's still pretending to be mad. Let's toast. She peeks over at me, lips twitching upward as she picks up her mug. To the familia. I say. To the familia. She echoes with a grin. We clink mugs and take a drink. The sweet, tangy taste of fruit liquor spreads over my tongue, smooth, flavorful, surprisingly potent. That's good. I nod in appreciation. Great sage, analyze all the food and drink I consume tonight. Notice. Beginning analysis. If I store the ingredients, I can enjoy decent meals even inside the dungeon. Eventually, Chloe returns with our food. It's piping hot, beautifully plated, and smells divine. Without hesitation, Hestia dives in, stuffing her cheeks like a squirrel. Her eyes shine with bliss as she hums in contentment between bites. I dig in at a slower pace, savoring each flavor as I commit it to memory. It really is as good as people say. More drinks arrive. Hestia is on her 5th mug when her face starts turning a delightful shade of red. I'm on my 3rd when it hits me. Or, it should hit me. My body already feels sluggish and relaxed. But my mind is still clear and, completely sober. Single quote. Shit. I'm not getting drunk. I swirl the liquor in my mug, staring into it blankly. Is intoxication considered a mental status effect? Does Ironheart make me immune to it? The disappointment settles deep. Hestia notices immediately. What's wrong? She asks, her words just a bit slower, her smile loopy and carefree. I don't think I can get drunk. I sigh. She blinks. I feel the effects physically, but I'm still sober. Her eyes widen slightly as the realization hits. She pauses, even in her intoxicated state, trying to think, and I can almost see the gears turning. Is she trying to come up with a solution? That's kind of sweet. And then, with a smug grin, she snatches my mug and chugs the rest of my liquor in one go. Ah, she exhales contentedly, licking her lips with a blissful sigh. Delicious. You don't need it, right? I stare at her in silence, my face expressionless. Give back any appreciation I just felt. I complain internally, clicking my tongue. Screw this. I'm ordering juice. I grumble. If I can't get drunk, I'm not gonna deal with the hangover. Hestia giggles, hiccups, and rests her chin in her palm, still red-faced and gleaming with satisfaction. I'll drink enough for both of us, she declares. I lean back in my chair, narrowing my eyes at her. That's fine, I think, watching her ordering more alcohol. I smile peacefully, knowing her retribution will come tomorrow morning. After a few more mugs of fruit liquor and several plates of food, Hestia finally slumps forward onto the table, cheeks flushed, and a dopey grin on her face as she falls asleep. She giggles and mumbles incoherently for a few moments before falling silent. And she's out. I sigh. Still, I can't help the faint smile tugging at my lips. She's completely helpless. But, she's my goddess. It's a huge bonus that she's cute. I raise a hand and wave Chloe over. She arrives quickly, a teasing smile on her face. Calling it a night? She asks. Yeah, I nod, glancing at the dozing deity. I think my goddess has had enough for one evening. She's kinda adorable like this. Chloe smiles playfully. I'm sure you're happy. I chuckle. Who wouldn't? She snorts softly. Fair. That'll be 18,000 valis. I count out the coins and hand them over. Chloe gives a pleased hum and tucks them into her apron. Thanks. And come back soon, she practically sings, and with a wink, she's off to another table. I stand up, stretching my limbs briefly before moving over to Hestia. Gently, I lift her into my arms, settling her into a princess carry. She stirs a little, clinging instinctively to my shirt and sighing happily. As I step toward the door, Mamma Mia glances over from the counter, one eyebrow raised and a smirk on her lips. Take care, kid, she calls out. And come back soon. I offer a smile. You can count on it. Then I step outside. The door swings shut behind me, muffling the lively hum of laughter, clinking mugs, and music within. The night air greets me with a welcome coolness, brushing against my skin and clearing my head slightly. Hestia curls up tighter in my arms with a contented hum, her face pressing gently into my chest. I take a deep breath and begin the walk home, unaware that somewhere far above, a gaze watches my every step with smoldering intensity. Freya Pav, Tower of Babel, 50th floor. My wine glass tilts gently in my fingers as I watch him through the window, his figure moving through the dimly lit street, goddess in arms. So, I murmur, the glass barely brushing my lips. He's Hestia's child. I lean back on the lounge, one leg crossing over the other. The plush cushions beneath me go unnoticed, my focus is entirely consumed by him. Ribbon. That soul. I saw it again. That same impossible, unimaginable color. Still just as bright, maybe even brighter. I didn't expect to find him so soon. And now, there's more. He's grown. A newly registered adventurer, just this morning. I close my eyes for a brief moment, recalling his vessel. His basic abilities are all above C now. My voice turns softer, more reverent. He's so beautiful. His soul, his appearance, even his potential. Everything about him is beautiful. A storm of curiosity and desire churns within me. I trace his path in my mind. I know exactly where he's headed. Hestia's little church. That won't last. I smile to myself. I wonder what secrets you're hiding, Ribbon. It's decided. I whisper, a thrill dancing down my spine. You'll be mine, Ribbon. I don't think I can wait patiently to have him. So I'll just take him. Once we meet, he'll fall for me. One meeting is more than enough. And between Hestia and I'm the obvious choice. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. Hope you all had a great day. If you enjoyed the chapter, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out. So, how do you like this chapter? I originally planned for him to meet Sur, who is Horn, and have Freya come and swap out halfway through, but then realized that she avoids Hestia always. So that fell through. Then, I planned to have him meet she next chapter and realized, once again, that it doesn't make sense. I did research and concluded that Freya only approached Bel as Sur because she wanted to play her game of being mortal. And she wanted him to grow without her direct interference, but still monitor him. As for here, let's just say Riven is more attractive to her than Belle would have been, and he's already grown quite a bit, making her impatient, which she originally is regardless, and I don't think she'd want to play the long game yet. She still views him like any other person, just a lot better in terms of potential and so on, without any real desire or expectation for love, which will change in the next chapter. Also, I find Freya's POV extremely hard to write. So I don't know if it comes off weird, but I try. I plan to focus less on it in future, since for now, I've been aiming to show how interesting Riven is to her, which I've managed. Any suggestions for skills Riven could acquire when he does level up, far in the future? I'm thinking normal or extra skills. I was thinking high-speed regeneration or something along those lines, but it's still a distance away. Anyway, that's all from me. 80 comments, 0 vote. 8. Objectively beautiful. Riven POV, church basement room. This feels familiar. I think as my consciousness begins to stir. I blink myself awake, greeted not by sunlight, but by the soft rise and fall of breath against my chest. I glance down. There, I see Hestia sprawled across me like I'm her personal mattress, her limbs clinging to me like a sleepy koala. Even blackout drunk, she still managed to find her way back here. I sigh internally. At this point, why do we even sleep in different places? Still, I made her a promise. I won't leave without saying goodbye. So I do what must be done. I place my hands on her shoulders and gently shake her. Which is weird, because she's on me, but I try to ignore that weirdness. Hestia, I say firmly. Time to wake up. She groans into my chest. 5 more minutes. She turns her head away, which accomplishes absolutely nothing. Lies. I narrow my eyes. No one who says that ever means it. I let out a theatrical sigh. Loki just showed up at the door. She's here to poach me. The reaction is immediate. Hestia bolts upright. Her eyes shoot open, her hair's a mess, and her voice echoes through the room. Where is that flat-chested hag? She yells, scanning the room already prepared for battle. How dare she poach my familia? Her eyes dart around, searching, until her expression slowly shifts from fury to confusion. Wait. Where is she? She mumbles, finally noticing that the only one here is me, and that she's straddling my stomach. I meet her gaze with an all too innocent smile. I just discovered your new alarm ringtone. Effective, don't you think? Her eyes go wide with betrayal. You wouldn't. I shrug. You told me to wake you, but you refused to awaken. I have to get creative. She pouts, planting her hands on my chest. Still, you didn't have to mention Loki. I could have said Freya. That'd have scared you straight. I think happily. Hestia's eyes narrow. You're thinking about something bad. I wouldn't dare. I say seriously. That's a lie. She deadpans, and we just stare at each other for a few seconds. There's no way I'll admit anything, so I gesture to her current position. So, are you going to stay on top of me all morning, or? Rather than flustered embarrassment, Hestia just tilts her head curiously and peers down. How'd I end up like this? Every night, you sneak over here while I'm asleep and wrap around me. I say plainly. She hums thoughtfully. Well, you do make a good pillow. She even strokes her chin for effect. I blink slowly. Is she serious right now? I'm glad I meet your bedding standards, but I've got things to do today. I tap her lightly. Fine. She hops off with a reluctant huff, stretching her arms above her head with a yawn. So, what's the plan for today? I'm planning to hit the 10th floor. I say while stretching. But before that, I'll need to stock up on potions. Do you know any decent places? Otherwise I'll just head to Diane Sect's place. Hestia's eyes light up instantly. Wait, I know a better one. My friend Mayak runs a pharmacy. He's got good stuff and fair prices. She runs over, grabs some paper, and scribbles crooked lines into a rudimentary map. This is the place, she says proudly, holding up the mess. Just tell them you're from my familia, and you'll be fine. I take the map with some skepticism. Ah yes, the same place that sold Belle watered-down potions at full price. Wonderful. Still, they're good quality, and much cheaper than normal. Alright, I'll stop there before heading into the dungeon. I sling my bag over my shoulder and turn to go. I left 5,000 Valis on the table for you. Use it for familia stuff. Wait, she calls out, just as I reach the door. What about weapons? Your current knife won't cut anything on the deeper floors. I glance over my shoulder. Good weapons cost good money. I'm not rich enough to buy one. Hestia bites her lip, looking hesitant. Just, don't do anything dumb like going into debt to get one, okay? I narrow my eyes slightly. You were already thinking about it, weren't you? She flinches. That's a yes. Makes sense. My growth rate even surpassed Belle, so she probably wants to get me gear that can match me. I sigh. If you're thinking of bugging Hephaestus for a weapon, don't. She averts her eyes. Quote. Instead, ask her if I can watch one of her smith's work. Or maybe even her, if she's willing. Her gaze flicks back, confused. What for? To steal their techniques. I say with a cheeky grin. But don't tell them that. Just say I wanted to broaden my horizons and learn. Hestia watches me for a moment, then slowly nods. Okay. I'll ask her. Just, be careful. I offer her a faint smile. Always. And with that, I open the door, stepping out into the cool Orario morning. Next stop, the Blue Pharmacy. Ribbon Pav, Blue Pharmacy. This should be the place. The building is modest. A sign with the Mayak Familia crest and the name of the store hangs above the door. I push open the wooden door, and a soft chime rings out as I step inside. The room is small, and devoid of decorations like most stores. Shelves line the walls, displaying a few rows of potions in differently colored vials. Behind the counter sits a girl slumped like she's about to drift off to sleep. Long, light brown hair drapes lazily over her shoulders. Her droopy purple eyes glance up at me under heavy lids, and her floppy dog ears twitch once. Welcome, she says in a deadpan voice that still seems to question why I'd appear here. We've got potions, and they're very affordable. Not very welcoming. I muse. I smile anyway. Thanks. I'm looking to buy some. Hestia recommended this place. You're from the Mayak Familia, right? Her expression doesn't change, but her head tilts. Hestia. She echoes slowly, like she's digging through mental cobwebs. Can't say I know her. She clearly doesn't care, but I press on anyway. She's my goddess. Said Mayak was an old friend of hers, so I figured I'd stop by. How much for ordinary and magic potions? At the mention of money, she perks up slightly. Ordinary potions go for 500 valis. Magic potions are 10,000. She recites mechanically. If you're buying in bulk, I can offer a discount. Ordinary potions are essentially glorified band-aids, and magic potions are good, but I've got no magic yet. I silently check the coin pouch strapped to my side. Only 2,750 valis left after giving Hestia her share. Being broke is wonderful. I think sarcastically. I'll take one ordinary potion for now. I sigh. Her shoulders visibly deflate with disappointment. Still, she turns to grab a vial, a thin glass tube filled with pale green liquid, and sets it down on the counter. Great sage. Answer. The potion is diluted. The concentration is lower than the other ordinary potions in display. Estimated healing effect reduced by 37%. I squint at the vial. This one's been watered down. The girl doesn't blink. What do you mean? I say plainly, this potion's concentration is lower than it should be. It's been diluted. We stare at each other for a moment, then she sighs, dropping the facade entirely. Quote. TCH. I hoped you wouldn't notice. Alright, how'd you figure it out? Her tone remains flat, but her curiosity is piqued. I have my methods. I shrug with a lazy smile. So, how about the real thing? She gives me a long stare, then slowly bends down and pulls a different potion from under the counter. Pretty much indistinguishable from the last one, but Great Sage confirms its quality. I place 500 valis on the table, but just as she's about to hand it over, she pauses. Her hand disappears below the counter again, and she brings up a second vial, this one a bright citrus hue. A mind potion. I raise an eyebrow. I'll give this one to you, on credit. She says in the same bored voice, but it's slightly more tense than before. It almost looks like offering it physically pained her. Isn't this the one that costs 10,000? I say, already reaching for it. She nods. I don't want valis. She says. I want help. I've hit a wall on a project I'm working on. Thought you might be useful. There it is. The bait. I'm a new adventurer. I reply mildly, watching her eyes. I doubt I'm much use to you. Keep the potion anyway. She says quickly. If you can't help, there's no need to pay it back. If you can, it'll be worth it. Now that's interesting. I study her face, but she's entirely calm and unreadable. Great Sage, anything suspicious about my behavior that would make her assume I could help her? Answer. Correct identification of potion concentration by sight is extremely difficult without further testing. She likely believes you have advanced alchemical knowledge. Yep, she's smart. At worst she loses 10k, and at best she'll make much more. Let me guess, I say, you're working on a potion. She nods once. But I haven't managed to get it to stabilize, and I want you to take a look. I stare at her for a moment, and smile cheerfully. Alright, I say finally. I'll take the mind potion as advance payment for consultation. But if we actually make it work, I narrow my eyes, I expect a cut of whatever profit it brings. She hesitates. Her ears droop a bit, almost apologetically, like a kicked puppy. It's kind of cute. But not enough that I'll let myself be taken advantage of cute. Quote. Fair. She mutters. We'll talk more when you come back. I need time to set things up. Looking forward to it. I smile. By the way, I never got your name. I'm Riven. I extend a hand. Great sage, can I analyze her prosthetic? Answer. The prosthetic limb is highly complex. Analysis possible, but it will take a long time. I expected it, but it's still a shame. She looks at my hand with a neutral expression. Quote. Naza. She says, not shaking it. Nice meeting you, Naza. I retract the hand without offense and slide both potions into my pouch, and consume them with Predator for analysis. I'll swing by again soon. With a parting nod, I step out of the blue pharmacy and into the morning light. If I'm right, she's working on the dual potion, which restores both health and mind. I can probably figure out how to stabilize it with Great Sage's help. And if I can't, I lose nothing. Even Dian sect envied the potion in the anime. It'd make lots of Valis. I hum, pleased, and begin walking toward Babel. Ribbon Pav, Tower of Babel. As I approach the tower's grand entrance, the sound of roaring cheers and excitable shouting hits me. Why is it so noisy today? I wonder, slowing my pace. Then I step into the main hall of Babel, and immediately understand. My eyes widen slightly as I catch sight of the source of the chaos. Freya. And she's walking straight toward me. Not directly, but close enough to set off alarm bells in my head. Her path is a gentle curve toward the entrance I just came through, her gaze sweeping across the crowd. Of all times, she shows up now. The crowd parts, making way for her to move unimpeded, as her familia keep people at bay. Adventurers, merchants, everyone either gawks or tries to get a better look at her. It's like a bunch of schoolkids seeing a celebrity in person. Some men fumble over themselves to bow or wave like idiots. Others just freeze in stunned shock. Even some of the women look starstruck, and a few even look jealous. And then there's me. Just trying not to look suspicious. My eyes scan her carefully. Silver hair cascading gracefully down her back, purple eyes with an unsettling depth, and skin as pale as fresh snow. She wears a black and crimson dress that flirts with modesty by leaving little to the imagination. Her smooth stomach and the curve of her chest practically on display. Every movement she makes is elegant, and charms all who see her. Yeah, she's gorgeous, but it's not as overwhelming as they make it sound. If Ice is a 10, then Frey is a solid 12. Is she beautiful? Absolutely. But it shouldn't be enough to send everyone into a frenzy. Or so I think, until the answer hits me. Notice, the skill Ironheart renders you immune to external mental effects. Freya's beauty does not influence the mind, it alters reality itself. Her divinity subtly shifts the definition of beauty within perception. This effect does not override free will, but creates an environment where her presence becomes the objective standard. This extends beyond physical appearance, and influences how her actions and words are perceived to a minor extent. So her charm isn't mind control exactly, it's reality distortion. It doesn't alter a person's mind, but makes it so that to everyone in existence, she's objectively the most beautiful. Objectively beautiful. To everyone. Without exception. That's arguably worse. It explains why so many people adore her, and loyally follow her. And yet, I'm immune to all of it. Everyone has their free will, but there's no changing the reality that they still have fallen victim to her charm. I quickly adjust course, slipping around the crowd, careful not to draw her attention. But then, I feel something that makes me glance back. And that's when it happens. Our eyes meet. It's just a moment, barely even a second. But I know she was looking at me. She sees me. No, she's been watching. Then, she smiles. It's a faint smile, a knowing smile. Immediately, several adventurers in the vicinity erupt in excitement, convinced the smile is meant for them. I even spot one guy crying. But I know better. That smile was meant for me. And it wasn't just curiosity. It was the smile of someone who's just uncovered a hidden conspiracy, and liked it. I look away instantly, slipping deeper into the crowd like a shadow. Great sage, was that what I think it was? Answer. Confirmed. Subject Freya activated her charm and focused it on you. So, she did try to charm me. Or test me. And she knows it didn't work. I inhale slowly, just so that I can sigh more deeply. I'm fucked. I just didn't know it yet. I used myself as bait, hoping to attract fish I could eat, but I brought a shark. And worse, she seems hungry. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. And if you did, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. It really helps the book out. How was the chapter? NGL, there were a lot of things that couldn't be found out, especially regarding Freya's charm. So, I out my own spin on it. It's been bothering me so much. Freya never charmed her familia, and everyone loves and adores her, just because she's beautiful. Then why would she feel like she needs someone immune to charm to truly be loved if she isn't charming anyone actively? Even gods don't qualify. I think this is it. I out my spin on it being warping reality to make Freya the epitome of beauty in everyone's mind, mortal and god, including any actions and words that can be counted as appealing or beautiful. Hence why it's so easy for her to be loved and adored by the public. Bel's case would also be explained as his love for ice, through the skill, resisting Freya's charm, since the skill ensures it can't shake his own thoughts, kinda like Riven here. Another thing. The reason it bothers Riven so much is because the situations are very different. Meeting Sir is Freya saying that I'm okay playing this game with you, and watching you grow from afar. Meeting Freya directly, in his head is her saying she's ready, and willing, to use direct means to get what she wants. Of course, these are just his thoughts, not necessarily Freya's, but it's a good spook. Also, he's exploiting Naza. Is anyone mad? While she's cute, he can't just throw away the potential to earn passive income, can he? I mean, you can do good deeds, but don't be taken advantage. It's funny that he does imply that he'd let someone take advantage of him if they were cute enough. But we'll never know. I've also uploaded all 10 advanced chapters to Patreon, so updates should be more stable at around once every second day. Feel free to support me if you want at patreon.com/amweekly. As for the Discord server, the link is discord.gg/djdk5knxt. Which should be permanent, unless I'm messing something up. Anyway, that's all from me. Hope you all have a great day. 56 comments 0 vote. 9 crazies. Freya Pav, Tower of Babel. I waited. Perched high above the streets of Orario, my gaze swept across the sprawling city below. The morning light reflecting across my hair as I stood beside the massive pane of glass, eyes fixed on the flow of people. Then, I found it. That brilliant flicker of color. A color that doesn't exist, but burns in my vision all the same. A soul, like no other. My lips curled into a graceful smile. It's time. Ottar. I say, my voice smooth and commanding. He steps forward silently, towering and stoic as always. We're going down. I say, and make my way out. Without a word, he follows. The others fall into step behind us. 9 of my finest children. They're loyal, powerful, and utterly devoted. And yet, they're only devoted because of my beauty. Their loyalty is tainted. I see it in their eyes, the same infatuation, worship, and obsession I've seen for centuries. They each desire to have me, but that's not pure love. Only Ottar stands apart. His devotion is pure. Closer to familiar love and respect, but that's not the love I seek. We descend Babel's spiraling corridors, and when we reach the first floor, my presence immediately draws attention. Lady Freya. It's Freya-sama. Gasps ripple through the crowd like a breeze through tall grass. Excitement, reverence, and overwhelming desire crash together in waves of chaotic adoration. My children react quickly, forming a protective perimeter without me needing to speak, preventing the masses from stepping closer. I don't care about any of them, my attention solely focused on one entrance. Single quote. He should be coming from that side. And soon. I see him. Riven Alaric. His soul stands out amongst the souls of the masses here. It shines brighter than any other in a shade that's impossible to ignore. My chest tightens unexpectedly. I watch his expression carefully as he spots me. Shock decorates his face, but there's no awe. No adoration. And even that disappears too quickly, as his face settles into one of practiced calm. That's not right. I read his soul to understand his true feeling. Shock. Confusion. disappointment, and then, caution. There's no lust, desire, or adoration. How is that possible? I wonder. But souls don't lie, and he's trying to leave. He flees into the crowd like a mortal trying to escape fate, not realizing he only makes himself more alluring. My pulse races. Why? Why is he unaffected? Centuries of divine poise keep my face calm, but my thoughts spin wildly. He should be staring. He should be falling for me. He should already belong to me. My curiosity twists into fascination, and then, I consider a possibility I hadn't thought possible. Could it be? I activate my charm, carefully directing it at him alone. No mortal skills be able to resist for even a moment. Even gods would be helpless. And yet, his soul shows no change. Nothing. He's immune to my charm. I watch him continue to walk, unaware of what he's doing to me. I stare at him harder, and at some point, I had started holding my breath. Could he be my ODR? That word echoes in my mind like a forbidden prayer. The one soul fated to love me not because of my beauty, but in spite of it, simply for who I am, even without it. It terrifies me. It thrills me. It angers me. He's not strong. Not yet. He hasn't earned my love. But that doesn't matter, because I see more than the child he currently is, but the one he could become. He's trying so hard to avoid me. I see it clearly. The careful steps, the sidelong glances. He thinks he's being stealthy. It's adorable, like a skittish kitten. Then he makes the mistake of looking back. And our eyes meet, only for single second, but to me, it is everything. And I smile. I don't mean to. It just happened. A pure, genuine smile caused by his cute reactions. He stiffens. His soul pulses with alarm, and quickens his pace, vanishing into the crowd. And just like that, he's gone. Gone. A laugh bubbles up in my throat, a soft involuntary chuckle. He ran away from me. Not out of hatred, but fear. He's adorable. I exhale slowly, controlling my features once again. The crowd still watches me, begging for attention they'll never receive. But I don't care. I focus on the warmth blooming within my chest. A warmth that doesn't fade. If anything, it spreads deeper, swelling in my chest. What is this? It's something sweet and strange. Desire, yes. Possessiveness, of course. But there's something new. Curiosity. Longing. Hope. Love. Ah, I sigh, lips curling in amusement as I let the warmth envelop my heart. He's so cute when he runs. A light giggle escapes me before I can stop it. People blink in surprise at my outburst. But the only one I want to notice me is already gone. Not yet, but soon, he'll be mine. For now, I'll be patient. I'll watch, and I'll wait. He's too weak for me to approach him as I am. But Sir can. Sir can touch him. Sir can learn his voice, his smile, his secrets. Just until he's strong enough to stand beside a goddess. Just until he's ready, for me. And I'll make sure he grows strong. I smile once more. Ottar. I say casually, turning away from the crowd, and back towards the 50th floor of Babel, as I've already accomplished more than I set out for. He follows silently, not questioning my choice. So, my little Ribbon. Let's see how quickly I can make you bloom. Ribbon Pav, Dungeon, 5F. I exhale as I slow to a stop on the 5th floor, my boots scraping faintly against the dungeon stone. Great Sage, am I being followed? Answer. There is no indication of pursuit. I nod slowly, letting the tension bleed from my shoulders. If Freya's targeting me, there's not much I can do about it. I sigh. If it's inevitable, then there's no point wasting energy worrying. I cast a glance around. The layout hasn't changed much from the previous floors. Tight corridors, uneven ceilings, but the colors shifted to a dull, rusty brown. This is where things start getting serious. War shadows, killer ants and other monsters spawn from here on, and the spawn rate is faster too. A small grin creeps onto my face as I draw my knife and pull my leather chest piece from stomach, equipping both in one smooth motion. Notice. Analysis of ordinary potion and magic potion complete. Perfect timing. Great Sage, can you highlight any materials, herbs, ores, anything worth collecting? Answer. A scanning overlay has been initiated. Good. No sense wasting time or money if I can gather what I need on the way. I move forward at a steady pace, my body ready for any sudden attack. Less than a minute passes before the wall ahead explodes outward. Reflex kicks in. I spring back in a fluid motion, easily faster than anything I could manage yesterday, as 3 elongated claws tear through the air where my torso had just been. I land with a light skid, eyes narrowing. Meeting a war shadow right away. I muse aloud. The war shadow emerges from the rubble, its obsidian black body slinking forward on unnaturally long limbs. It stands upright, humanoid in shape, but where a face should be is only a glowing crystal embedded in its head. It slashes downward at my skull, but it's too slow. I slip under the arc of its strike and slam my knife up through the crystal in one smooth motion. The blade pierces with a satisfying crunch, and the monster goes limp. I expected more. I use Predator, watching as its body disintegrates into smoke, its magic stone and a finger blade dropping into stomach alongside a small quantity of Exelia. I frown. That's less than I got from the goblins. Answer. Due to your current strength, the threat posed by war shadows is less than when you fought the goblins. Exelia yield is proportional to combat difficulty. I click my tongue. So it's not about how strong the monster is, but how hard the fight is. That rules out the lazy idea of scavenging strong monsters others killed. I press forward through the corridor, descending deeper. Every few minutes I run into more monsters, mostly war shadows and frog shooters. None of them last more than a few seconds. After about 10 minutes, I step into a wider chamber, and a tongue shoots at my face. Without thinking, I pivot, slicing the projectile clean off with a flick of my wrist. A frog shooter stares at me in wide-eyed panic before I dart forward, leap, and drive my blade into its singular eye. It gives a wet squelch and collapses. I pull the knife free, barely even winded. These floors are meant for adventurers with stats around G, maybe Frank. And I'm way past that. I sigh, not with relief, but disappointment. This is getting dull. I descend another floor. The sixth. The temperature drops a little, and I hear the skittering of legs before I see them, long, chitinous limbs moving in unison. Killer ants. They're big, half a meter tall, 1.5 long, and fast. Their carapaces gleam in the low light, as their mandibles clack together threateningly. But I'm faster. I dart forward and leap into the air, bringing my knife down like a hammer through the head of the first ant. It hits the ground with a crunch, its legs twitching, as it dies instantly. While the ants aren't dangerous on their own, if you don't kill them, they release a pheromone on the verge of death that attracts other ants. I use Predator on it and gain one more magic stone, and some Exelia. Killer ants and frog shooters don't have any drops. The second ant doesn't even get that far. It tries to flank me, but I kick it in the side hard enough to flip it, then stab down and end it. I glance at my blade, that's already chipped. Already. I've just fixed it before this. I sigh, pulling it into stomach and repairing it. Maybe I should just start using my hands. I tighten my fists, half joking, half not. At the very least, it'd be more fun. The idea starts to seem more appealing the longer I think about it. On a positive note, Great Sage managed to identify a few materials. I've found a few of the herbs I need for the potions I got from Naza. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. I haven't found any ores, though. Another sigh escapes me as I head toward the stairs leading to the 7th floor. I step onto the 7th floor and immediately realize I might have gotten a little cocky. A wry grin pulls at my lips as I tighten my grip around the twitching neck of a half-dead killer ant. Thick and sticky blood runs down my fingers. I squeeze, crushing its throat with a sickening crunch before activating Predator. Its body disintegrates, absorbed in a swirl of black mist. But I don't have time to enjoy the moment. The ground trembles slightly beneath my feet, faintly at first, then growing stronger, signaling the approaching stampede. I glance up and spot them. A swarm. Dozens of killer ants pour from the tunnel ahead, crawling across the floor, the walls, even the ceiling, moving as a single, coordinated mass. Definitely more than I expected. But I still grin. My heart races, not with fear, but excitement. The kind that makes your chest hurt, forces your senses awake, and makes you feel alive, only because you're close to dying. Great Sage, I say calmly, eyes tracking the skittering horde. How many? Answer. 41, 46 confirmed targets. Additional enemies are approaching. 46. If I don't one-shot them, more will come. That's going to snowball fast. I crack my knuckles and stretch out my arms, body practically vibrating with anticipation. Perfect. This should net me a decent chunk of Exelia. If not, it'll at least be good training. I brace to charge, then the ceiling above me bursts open. 3 new monsters drop from above. I jump back instinctively, my eyes narrowing as I identify them midair. Purple moths. And, worse, a blue papilio. I activate thought acceleration immediately. Shit. That's really bad. Great Sage, what are my chances now? If they're too low, I'll need to run. Answer. Chance of victory has decreased from 83% to 48%. Likelihood of death has increased from 1.3% to 4.1%. I like those odds. The purple moths begin flapping their wings, releasing shimmering purple dust into the air. It sparkles like deadly glitter, filling the corridor with poison-laced clouds. The blue papilio hovers behind them, elegantly flapping its four transparent wings, and scattering fine blue powder that drifts toward the ants, waiting to heal them. That complicates things. If I don't instantly kill the killer ants, they'll attract more ants, and will recover, making my efforts useless. I could kill the papilio now, but I'd need to absorb it alive if its powder is a skill. Great sage. That healing powder, is it magic, or a skill? Answer. It is magic. How long will it take to analyze? Answer. 10 minutes required for full analysis. Okay, I can endure never-ending enemies for 10 minutes. I deactivate thought acceleration and take a deep breath, grounding myself. My knife would break by the fifth ant, making it useless. Guess I'll use my hands. I burst forward, feet pounding against the stone, eyes locked on the swarm. The hallway's not wide, but the ants have claimed every surface. It's a 3D battlefield, one mistake, and they'll be on my back. The first ant charges me straighten, mandibles clicking. I don't stop. My heel slams down on its head with bone-cracking force. Its body stiffens, then crumples as blood splashes up my leg. One down. I pivot just in time as four more leap from the walls, trying to pile on me. I jump back, narrowly dodging their claws. The poisonous powder hangs in the air like fog, settling on my skin. I feel a slight tingling, but I ignore it, because. Notice. Substances purple moth powder and blue papilio powder isolated in stomach. Analysis underway. Analysis speed increased. Nice. I surge back in. Punch. Elbow. Knee. Stomp. Each blow cracks chitin, crumples bodies, and sends limbs flying. I duck under jaws, slam my shoulder into the thorax of one crawling on the wall, squishing the bug against the wall, then drive my fist through another's exposed underbelly. With each kill, I automatically use Predator, keeping my surrounding clear. But no matter how many I crush, more crawl towards me in a never-ending swarm. Those that don't die, are revived by the papilio's healing dust. One of them manages to graze my thigh, its mandibles slicing through my pants, leaving a shallow cut, while another rakes across my shoulder. I acknowledge the damage, but feel no actual pain, so I keep moving unimpeded, adrenaline pumping through my veins, and making me feel alive despite death being only an inch away. Ants crawl over each other, jumping towards me with reckless abandon. I strike those mid-air, knocking back into the swarm, while killing any grounded ones I get the chance to, and absorb them. Even as they push me back with pure numbers, even as I retreat slowly. I fight. I don't laugh to retain enough oxygen to sustain myself, but I'm thrilled. This is what I needed. I shout over the chaos, blood-slick fist slamming into another ant's face. Finally, something fun. I realize my fist is stuck in the ant's head, and stop myself from absorbing it. Am I crazy? I wonder with a bloodthirsty grin. I curl my fingers, and they penetrate the carapace, forming a makeshift hold, and I swing the ant's corpse like a makeshift club, knocking away 5 ants simultaneously. I've found a new weapon, I hum like a kid in a candy store. With a single spin, I launch the ant forward with such speed that it smashes into 4 ants, severely injuring 2, and killing the other 2. Why worry about a knife, when everything's a weapon? For a moment, I lose myself in the rhythm. The roar of combat, the scent of blood, the thrill of dancing with death. I move on instinct, each step calculated, my movements and senses improving, as after each clash, Great Sage uploads insights into my mind. I dodge attacks I can't counter. I strike any that get too close. I bleed from shallow cuts I couldn't completely prevent. I smile from excitement. Notice. Analysis 32% complete. I grip the nearest ant's legs, lift it overhead, and hurl it into the moths. 2 of them scatter, disoriented. The blue papilio remains untouched. But I won't let it go for much longer. Just as I reach for another ant to use as a makeshift club, I hear a high-pitched whistle slicing through the air behind me. I leap to the side on instinct, and something blurs past where my head had just been. It's a needle rabbit. It hits the ground, flips, and without hesitation, darts into the fray, joining the swarm of killer ants already lunging toward me. I turn my gaze to the direction the rabbit came from and frown as more monsters pour into the corridor. War shadows. More needle rabbits. Even some purple moths hover above them. I click my tongue. I'm surrounded now. My only path of retreat is filled with monsters. There are dozens more. More than I care enough to count. Yeah, fighting this head on in my current state would be suicidal. I let out a slow, measured breath and close my eyes for a moment. When I open them, they're cold. Time to get serious. I picture Hestia's face. The tears she'd shed if I die, and the grief knowing I'll never return. Let's not ruin her day, since she'll know the moment I died. I activate thought acceleration, and the world slows around me. All movements become sluggish. I stop at 20x. Fast enough for me to react with ease, but slow enough for me to still feel feedback from my body. A second needle rabbit leaps for my throat. I twist my body fluidly, palm snapping out like a clamp, and catch it midair by the neck. With clinical ease, I snap its spine and wrench its head clean off. Congratulations. I whisper, crushing the skull in my hand, carving through muscle and bone to fashion the jagged horn into a makeshift sai. You're promoted to weapon now. The swarm presses in. Ants on the walls, war shadows stalking closer, and rabbits crouched low, ready to pounce. But I dive into them first. My sai, horn, lashes forward with pinpoint precision, piercing joints, eyes, underbellies. One hit, one kill. I make no excess movement, and leave no need for a second strike. Great Sage. Predict their movements, and overlay it in my vision. Notice. Creating visual overlays. Predicting movement trajectories. I dial thought acceleration up to 40x. And suddenly, I see everything. Phantom outlines shimmer over each monster, ghostly images of where they will be. Their attacks are telegraphed seconds in advance, and strikes from behind outlined before they're even launched. I've practically eliminated my blind spots. It takes the fun out of things slightly, but better that than death. I don't dodge attacks anymore. I preemptively end the attackers. My strikes no longer aim for enemies. I attack their futures, stabbing where they'll be, rather than where they are. I abandon one horn when it cracks, and snatch another needle rabbit midair, crush its skull, promote it to a sai, and repeat. Everything becomes calculated as I simply go through the motions, rather than follow the thrill. Notice. Analysis 67% complete. My process is refined with every movement. I stab, kill, absorb the bodies with predator, and make room to strike again. My goal is simple, kill as many as possible, using as little effort as possible. The blue papilio's healing dust floats in lazy spirals through the corridor, ready to patch wounds and drag enemies back from the brink of death. I don't let it matter. Every strike I land is a kill, giving the monsters no second chances. But still, they keep coming. I dodge a war shadow's claws, barely. A frog shooter's tongue almost rips through my shoulder. But with mechanical efficiency, I dodge, counter, and kill. Blood runs down my back, as I let a killer ant's mandibles cut my flesh in order to avoid a more serious attack. My body's working in overdrive, and my muscles scream at me for rest. But why care what my body thinks, when I can't feel pain? I should run, but there's no path to run onto. I should panic, but Ironheart eliminates fear. I should not be enjoying this. But my smile's already stretching too wide. Danger, where any mistake could be my last. Strategy, where every resource has to be used. The slow collapse as the odds are stacked against me. My heart beats like a war drum, echoing through my body. Am I crazy? I wonder, as even now, I enjoy this. I press on, teeth bared, face streaked with sweat and blood. Then, notice. Analysis of blue papilio powder and purple moth powder complete. Magic acquired. And for the first time in what feels like forever, I pause. A cold grin spreads across my lips, as a ripple of anticipation runs down my spine. I raise my hand slowly, blood dripping from my knuckles. I don't need chants or gestures, but it's showtime. And activate both magics simultaneously. 91 comments 0 vote. 10. Symphony of Slaughter. Ribbon Pav, Dungeon, 7F. A violent plume of purple powder erupts from my palm, dispersing like violet flame into the haze already choking the corridor. Within seconds, the air thickens, poisonous to monsters and adventurers alike. It's inconvenient if I can't use my hands. I frown. Great Sage, emit it from my skin instead. Notice. Dispersion method of purple powder altered to full body emission. The shift is immediate. Violet trails swirl from my arms and chest, forming a deadly aura around me. But my hands, my weapons, are free once more. That's better. At the same time, blue powder shimmers to life around my open wounds. It glitters softly before melting into my cuts and bruises, knitting flesh together, and repairing any damage I've sustained. Can you apply the same healing internally? Mainly to heal any damage to my muscles and ligaments caused by my movements. Notice, blue powder will be generated internally to repair damaged tissues. The aches all over my body fades away as Great Sage gets to work. I can push my body past its limits, and it'll function as long as I have mind. Good. Then I'll leave it all to you. Prioritize survival. Consume any magic stones in stomach to replenish my mind when it gets too low. Acknowledged. Magic management delegated to unique skill, Great Sage. Magic stones and harmful substances in stomach will be consumed to restore mind. The world speeds up again as I deactivate thought acceleration, letting time flow at its normal speed, and with it, chaos returns. The monsters surge through the cloud of purple powder I'm continuously releasing. War shadows, killer ants, and needle rabbits screech, scuttle, and leap forward in a wave of bodies. I grin. I don't have to be cautious anymore. Let's have some fun. Why else would I deactivate thought acceleration? With my rabbit horn gripped like a dagger, I dive straight into the wave. A war shadow's claws blur toward my head, and I duck under the strike, and hammer a fist directly into its crystal face. It shatters like a mirror, I absorb it before its corpse even hits the floor. Behind me, something skitters. I pivot, slam my heel down, hard, on a killer ant that tried to flank me. Its shell bursts beneath my foot like a melon. Its twitching body is quickly absorbed. I then leap forward, stepping on another ant and using it as a springboard to soar above the monsters. 3 needle rabbits dash and jump toward me in midair, horns poised to puncture me. One dives for my throat. Another aims its horn at my chest. The third slices towards my thigh. I don't flinch. The first gets impaled midair as I drive its companion's horn through its face. The second gets a spinning elbow to the snout, knocking it off course. But I fail to completely dodge the third. Blood bursts from my thigh as its horn carves a deep gouge into the muscle. I ignore it, blue powder already flooding the wound, stitching it shut from the inside out. I twist in the air, grab the first rabbit's corpse by the ankle, and slam it into the third like a club. They squeak cutely, as they're slammed together, and their bones crack, and blood splatters through the air. Then gravity reclaims me. I drop like a comet, using another killer ant's back as a stepping stone, and launch myself again, with such force, the ant smashes into the ground hard. But this time, I jump towards the greatest threat here, the blue papilio. Always get rid of the healer first. I only let it live because I wanted to analyze its magic. It keeps healing the monsters, and has finally outlived its usefulness. The creature tries to flutter back, but it's too slow. I latch onto it midair, grab its head with my hand, and stab the horn into its thorax, avoiding the wings with surgical care, since they're quite valuable. Predator activates, and the butterfly dissolves into a swirl of mist and smoke, its magic stone and wings safely consumed into stomach. I drop to the ground, hard, and crush 2 ants beneath my feet. Around me, the horde hesitates, just for a moment. The air is thick with poisonous dust, and the only thing keeping them alive, their healer, is gone. I raise my blood-soaked horn weapon and smile. No more second chances. I joke. They screech and charge towards me. I dodge a flurry of claws, grab a killer ant by the mandibles, and start spinning. Its armored body becomes a wrecking ball, slamming into anything that gets close. Crunch. Crack. Splatter. But the ant isn't built for blunt force. After the third collision, its thorax rips apart, intestines and blood flying loose, before turning into smoke and assimilating into me. But it doesn't matter that it broke. I just grab another, and break it too after smashing 4 more monsters. Then another, and repeat the process with manic glee. Blood, shells, and innards fly like confetti. Limbs detach. Screeches rise and fall in quick succession. My arms are lacerated from hits I stopped caring to avoid, my body bathed in blood, and lungs filled with poisonous powder. But I don't stop. I don't feel pain. And my wounds are regenerating faster than I get injured. I'll keep going until all life here ceases. A needle rabbit stabs its horn deep into my side. I respond by grabbing it, pulling it out and impaling it, horn and head, into the eye of frog shooter. My vision is splattered with crimson blood. How many are left? Answer. 84 monsters detected. I've got a few more to go. I let out a breath. Despite the thought, I can't be happier. Are my odds still as bad? I muse, pivoting as another rabbit lunges towards me, and I shoulder it into the wall, cracking its spine, and drive its horn through a war shadow behind me. Answer. Chance of victory has increased from 48% to 96%. Likelihood of death has decreased from 4.1% to 0.3%. My heartbeat echoes in my ears like a war drum calling for violence. The battlefield is a symphony of chaos, and I'm the conductor. And in this madness, this battlefield of blood, poison, and death, I find something strange. Peace. It's neither calm, nor serene. But I feel clarity. There's no need to hesitate. No need to hold back, or worry about anything except killing and potentially dying. The air is now thick with poison. My lungs pulled in the toxic haze without consequence, partly thanks to great sage and predator isolating it, and partly due to most of it being my own magic, so I'm unaffected. But everything else isn't so lucky. The first sign of collapse came barely a minute after I killed the blue papilio. A needle rabbit lunged at me, horn aimed high, and I twisted around, ready to meet it head on. But halfway through its leap, its legs seized midair, and it hit the ground like a ragdoll, twitching once before going still. Then another stumbled mid-charge. Its momentum carried it forward, but its body gave up halfway through its leap. It flopped onto its side, spasmed for a bit while foaming at the mouth, before dying. By the 2-minute mark, I was still carving through the horde when I saw the purple moths drop, one by one. Their wings barely fluttered, before they fell from the air. They smashed onto the blood-soaked floor, their wings getting soaked like wet parchment. A war shadow tried to take advantage of my momentary distraction. Its claws lashed out, seeking to tear my throat open, but I reacted instantly. I ducked under its arm, grabbed its wrist, twisted, and used its own momentum to flip it over my shoulder. Its body smashed against the stone floor with a dull crunch. Without hesitation, I raised my foot and stomped its crystal face in. It cracked like glass under pressure, then it burst into mist as I absorbed it, leaving nothing behind. Around me, the battle slowed, not because I was tired, but because the enemy was. The killer ants, once relentless, started wavering. Their movements became sluggish, as the front row collapsed first, further slowing them down and breaking their momentum. The ones on the floor just collapsed, unable to support their own weights any longer. And those crawling on the walls, fell down, smashing into their companions below as some unfortunate ants died from the weight. By minute 4, the remaining frog shooters croaked. Their tongues hung loose, as singular dead eyes stared vacantly at nothing. The swarm continued to thin with every moment that passed, and eventually, the battle draws to an end. Eventually, only one monster remains, a war shadow, its crystal already cracked. It tried to raise its claws one last time. I met its gaze, if it could be called that, and smiled. With a swift kick, I shattered its knees, then drove its own arm through its face. And absorbed any trace of its existence. And just like that, the once lively dungeon descends into silence. I stood alone. Around me are piles of corpses that died of poisoning before I could get to them. The narrow hallway was bathed in a chaotic mural of red ichor, green fluids, and crushed carapaces. I take a long breath. Maybe I shouldn't have used the poison. I mused idly. The fight would have lasted longer. Watching them die by themselves isn't as fun as actually killing them. Notice. Purple powder production has ceased. All present monsters have perished. What a shame. Still, my work isn't done. Time to loot. I smiled, cracking my neck. One by one, I moved through the aftermath, stepping over dismembered bodies and pools of fluid, placing a foot on each monster's remains and activating predator. Their corpses dissolved into mist, magic stones sinking into stomach, item drops separated and stored with clinical efficiency. By the way, how many monsters did I kill? Answer. 317 monsters killed. Breakdown. 207 killer ants, 51 needle rabbits, 32 war shadows, 19 frog shooters, 7 purple moths, 1 blue papilio. And how many magic stones did I consume when using the magic? Answer. 7 killer ant magic stones. I blinked. Quote. That's it. Answer. Purple and blue powder are low-cost magic. As you are still level 1 magic stones can replenish your mind efficiently. So, they don't use too much magic, and a single magic stone can replenish my reserves. Seems that Predator is quite efficient at converting magic stones to mind. Single quote. I absorb the last body, and the hallway is free of bodies now. But the blood doesn't disappear, and decorates the walls and floor. And in the middle of it all stood me, breathing heavily, covered in gore, and grinning like a madman. My pounding heart slowly calms down. Quote. Ha. The laugh escaped my throat before I could stop it. That was fun. It's the kind of thrill you can only get by walking at the edge of death, knowing a single mistake would be your only mistake. Every second had demanded focus. Every decision, precision. I'd been torn, slashed, poisoned, surrounded, and I enjoyed it. Quote. It's over already. I sigh, feeling calm once again. I'd even go so far as to say empty. I wasn't tired. My stamina was fine, and my injuries are already healed. Even my magic power is full. But there's nothing left to kill. Nothing trying to kill me. It's gotten boring again. Should I go deeper into the dungeon? I wonder aloud. I confirm the time, and it's only 2:30 p.m. Plenty of daylight left. But Hestia's going to scold me no matter when I get back for doing something so dangerous in the first place. If she'll be mad regardless, does it matter if she gets angrier? I muse. Still, I've earned more than enough for today. I'm not in that big of a rush to get stronger. Besides, if my guess is right, I've got enough Exelia to reach the limit in all stats. Going deeper isn't worth the effort. I could focus on gathering materials for now. I'd already found herbs for a few potions. I could stockpile for when I get hold of an elixir, and mass produce them. I also need to collect ores, so I can make weapons. Using monsters as improvised tools is fun, but I'll need something more reliable, especially if I go deeper. Monsters like orcs and infant dragons would be impossible to improvise against. I take a glance back down the now empty corridor, recalling the thrilling battlefield. I lick the blood from my lip absent-mindedly, smiling to myself. Hopefully the peace doesn't last too long. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Hello everyone. Hope you're all having a great day. If you enjoyed the chapter and the book thus far, please consider leaving me some comments, reviews, or power stones. So yeah, this is the chapter. NGL, Ribbon ain't entirely right in the head. For anyone wondering, it's because Ironheart causes to be numb most of the time, so the only times he feels something are when he's teasing people, like Hestia or Misha, and when he's fighting or nearly dying, what's the difference? He doesn't know. So yeah, he's gonna hit the limits of his stats, 999 after this, and I'm thinking of altering how he himself gains Exelia. I'd say it's a 100 times more difficult to gain stake points after 999, which would take him way too long to level up, like regular adventurers. He'd still be level 1 by the time Bell shows up. So, a compromise is that he uses high-ranking Exelia to fill the stats. My logic is that high-ranking Exelia he'd get from that challenge, added to the 10 times he gets from absorbing the monster, would be sufficient for him to level up if he performs the feat numerous times. In this case, hunting infant dragons. He's got a healing skill, and I'm thinking of him being able to use Exelia to acquire a secondary development ability as he levels up. Is that too much? Maybe. Let me know. Finally, something that's been bothering me are his clothes. He needs to get some other clothes. So, it'd be a date with someone. Too bad Misha ain't a love interest, otherwise they could do armor, and all that together at the same time, like Belle did with Aina. So, likely Hestia, since she's the only other girl. I'm open to ideas and suggestions for other things they could do on the date, make it cute. That's all from me. Hope you all have a great day.